Welcome to episode 1 of Just Playing Games with Master Trainer Peter. Just a quick note, this was our first recording. We hadn't decided on the full name for the podcast yet, and also this is just an incredibly long podcast. So stick it on, get comfy, do whatever, do your chores, do your stuff, and yeah, let's have a little chat about Summer Game Fest. Thanks, and enjoy the show. Hello. Welcome to this as of yet untitled Master Trainer Peter podcast. I, of course, am Master Trainer Peter, and today I have got with me my lovely regulars. We have got Zora and we have got Barlow. Zora, introduce yourself.
I'm Zora. Pronouns they, them.
And Barlow, what have you got?
You called us regulars already, Peter?
You are regulars. I've made you regulars already.
This is confidence. I love it. Yeah, I'm Barlow. Call me whatever you want.
Nice. Nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. Oh, God, not nervous in any way, shape, or form. All right, you rowdy lot, let's get into it. We are talking today about, well, everything that has gone on in the past month with Summer Game Fest. We have to be very careful not to say Summer Games Fest, because it's Summer Game Fest, as has been pointed out to me. So, we're going to break... It is just... Oh, I had no idea. Embarrassing. So, Summer Games Fest. We're going to break down pretty much what went on over the past month. So, where do you want to start? Where do you want to start, everyone?
Well, let's start at the beginning. I'm already doing it, Peter. It's because I miss you.
I miss you.
You're interstate now, and I keep going into British. Okay, all right.
You can do it.
We're gonna start. We should probably start at the start with the reason your people, your lovely audience, are here, and that's Sonic.
Sonic. Right, yeah, okay, cool. We can talk about Sonic quickly. Quickly. Make sure it's quick. Just like the Hedgehog himself, but... Okay, so, if you weren't aware, Sonic Frontiers had its... finally had its big reveal, right? Which was very exciting. If you are a Sonic fan like me, you've been itching for something actually decent since 2017, since Forces, because that was... It was so mid, it's ridiculous. And yeah, basically what we got on, I think it was the 1st of June, or maybe just a little bit before, there was like this teaser trailer put out on Twitter. It's just kind of shadow dropped, absolutely rocked everyone's morning. So IGN essentially have got this exclusive sort of contract thing with them where they are showing off all this new gameplay. So you've got the exploration gameplay was the first thing that came out, and then combat, and then a hands-on impressions, then some Q&As with the devs and stuff like that. Did either of you watch the Sonic? I've got to ask just quickly.
Yes.
Yeah?
Zora, which parts did you watch, Zora? Because I think I'm as confused as I was before.
So, I mean, I watched the original gameplay reveal as well as the updated reveal of gameplay as well. The opening reveal was something, to put it lightly.
Yes, it was.
You can definitely say that Sonic Frontiers is a video game.
Tis a video game. It appears to be open world of sorts.
No, I think it's open zones.
Oh, sorry, my mistake.
Oh, yeah, you've got to call it open zone. You've got to call it open zone, mate. Yep.
It's an open zone and very empty looking with the first video.
So just to be clear, the first video was the IGN one or the one in the Sonic Central?
No, the first. So it was IGN released 2 videos before Sonic Central. Because yeah, Sonic Central, by the way, got announced with less than 24 hours notice, and it was scheduled at the same time as IGN's hands-on gameplay impressions.
A choice.
It was a choice. You either watch Sonic Central or you watch the hands-on impressions. I watched Sonic Central, and I will say I made the wrong choice.
Didn't they release? They announced some cool stuff, right?
Yeah, the Sonic Pez dispenser's coming out. And okay, cool. I am being a little bit harsher on it. Like the Sonic Symphony Tour announcement was really cool. That was fantastic, and also something I predicted, which I was very happy with. And they also, yeah, like they had like a gameplay trailer for Sonic Origins, which was cool, but like we kind of knew what the gameplay was. The games came out about 30 years ago. There was the Sonic Frontiers prologue thing with Knuckles standing there, being very menacing, and they showed like a bit of the boss footage, which was it was cool, but like very unnecessary, and the timing was weird. I mean, it didn't really need its place to be right there. Should have been a little bit after the hands-on impressions where people would have, not felt so bad about it. It was definitely an interesting time, but yeah, those first gameplay videos were just so boring. And it's like, this is my open world adventure game, and yeah, cool. You can walk, you can run a little bit, and we're not going to show you. In the first one, with them showing them avoiding most of the puzzles, avoiding most of the combat, so like it really looked like they were avoiding the flow of the game. Like, why would you do that?
Just obstacles just laid about with a very quiet sort of setting as well. There was no real like meat behind it. It was very one of the quietest video game videos I think I've ever watched.
Yeah, the use of the piano-led track is really nice. Yeah, you get the kind of like atmosphere of like you're lost or something like that. I think that's what they were going for. But like, it kind of, when you're moving around and jumping and stuff, it didn't really fit.
What I was enjoying mostly, without having watched all of the games and poured over it like I expected you would, because I figured you'd almost give me a more entertaining breakdown of it than I would get from watching the stuff, was the ongoing like evolving reactions from people online to it, like the transforming. And I know you did a video on your channel.
I did, yes.
In TP Gaming, about how, after one of the presentations and the hands-on showcase stuff, there were some people who were still doubling down on like, it being janky and bad, but it seems like an equal amount of people were saying it was like, actually, it's good, actually.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I'm now like just way more interested in this because it is so divisive.
Yeah, it's definitely got a very divisive audience. And the thing is that like, it's one of these things like kind of like vocal minority sort of situation sometimes, but also where you've got people with platforms who are very, very vocal about the things that they dislike about it. So they were kind of trashing the game. And then when this other video came out and when the hands-on impressions came out, the other part of the Sonic marketing fiasco, and we will call it a fiasco because it's been terrible, is that they then had demos live at Summer Game Fest. They had these like, there was that hands-on area, I think it's in California. I take it you both saw that?
Oh yeah, with the windowed mode.
Yeah, that said Sonic Rangers on it. Yep, yeah, that one. It's just, yeah, and then they were like, there's a report from, is it Kinda Funny? The people behind Kinda Funny said apparently there were like Sega bouncers or something like that hiding in bushes to stop people from getting video through the windows.
I didn't hear hiding in bushes. I heard using bushes to hide.
It's like, what are you?
Thing. I don't know which is funnier, to be honest.
I may have misread that now. Look, I'm worried about that. I'll look into that. But I just, like, there was so much secrecy over it, and then people still managed to get the footage. So the kind of the impressions of people turned better even then, like, because it's like, yeah, it doesn't look good in the videos that they've shown, but when you actually start playing it, the controls make sense. You've got control sliders and stuff, so like it's pretty cool. I'm pretty positive. I'm pretty optimistic about it, but they just couldn't have started worse. I mean, unless they literally just showed like Sonic T-posing all over the whole thing, which is, I mean, it's almost what they did at one point. There's actually, I've seen a bit of one of the animations slow down one of his like finisher attacks. His model's static and it just zooms away. It zooms away from the enemy, and then he goes into the attack. But he is literally just it's his standing pose, just flying up into the air.
Oh my word!
But it's done so fast you're not meant to see it. But because of the internet being a thing, people have slowed it down and are like, that's go first.
But
there we go.
Tell me about this sexy robot.
Basically, one of the robots.
Tips for days.
It's just right. Okay, cool. So basically, here's what happened. Is one of the bosses. So they, after Summer Game Fest, Sega released this other video to go into people's like hands-on impressions videos, and they've confirmed as well that this is from a newer build than the previous gameplay that they showed off. All right. So
right.
Yeah, so IGN have said, oh yeah, this other footage that we've got now is from a later, more complete build than the one we were using beforehand. It's like, cool. It's been like a week, guys. Like, why didn't you use this footage that is better first? You clearly had it. Anyway, and there's a boss robot. There's a boss robot, and it's like this kind of black robot with like big hips. And so Twitter was like, do you know what? I think I can do something with this. It's just we stray further from the light every day.
Oh, Peter, I'm so glad you're a Sonic fan.
Yeah, it's a curse.
This
Seems like the actual models of all of the actual enemies, they seem to be using the exact same model, and they just made the boss a little bit larger from what I'm looking at. Like, I've got a little like sizzle reel, I guess is what I'm going to call it, of just cuts together of all the new content that came through.
I didn't.
And
Is it sizzling?
I'm on the Frontiers the IGN Frontiers page.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's just like halfway down the bottom of the page is just some really talking with like the developers and them talking about the gameplay and just showing off combat against multiple enemies and stuff like that. And it looks pretty fun, to be honest. I don't know what this new swirly ability is that he's sort of like, you go around in a circle and then you complete that circle and then
That's
the air gets super fast.
That's called the Psy Loop.
Thank you. I have no idea what that's from.
Psy Loop is I don't know why he can do that.
Excellent.
Oh, it's new.
But there's a skill tree in there, and apparently, and I watched a video by Alana Pierce this morning, and she's actually confirmed she's actually given out a little bit of interesting information, which I wasn't expecting from a Sonic game at all. Which is that she was trying to beat an enemy, and she said like there's no footage of this enemy online that she was trying to beat, but she was trying to beat it. And then one of the PR guys came over and was like, "Oh, you're gonna really struggle. That enemy is too high a level for you." So
Levels.
we have level gating in a Sonic game. Interesting.
I kind of like it.
Like, yeah, I didn't see that coming at all. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was like, surely you just hit it a lot of times and it's gonna die. That's how Sonic bosses work. But no, apparently there's some sort of level gating system. So interesting.
I heard my favorite thing. It might have also been Kind of Funny or one of the other people. It all blends together. All these constant reactions that are playing on my feed. But I heard like a platinum game, which is just a could just be classic video game reaction hyperbole. Probably is. But in terms of like the amount of like, there's like I don't know if it means there's equivalent of witch time or what, but like there's enough moves, all that kind of thing. You know, what's the bar? Does it just need to be better than the werehog sections from Sonic Unleashed?
All right, I actually liked them, but they just didn't fit the game. Yeah, no. I heard that they, you know how I mean, we've all played Bayonetta.
Yeah,
I have played the first one. Yep.
Exceptional. So you know how when it's loading, you can try out the moves.
Yes.
Yeah, apparently you can do that as well. Like in the loading screens, there's like like you can just try out moves constantly, and try out combos and stuff, which is very platinum.
Yeah, no, that's super platinum. Yeah, okay, I get you.
But it looks
Fair
really
enough.
cool.
Maybe you take a dirt nap.
Yeah. It's just a really good. There's like a really good section, like in that gameplay thing as well, which is like this like motorbike sort of creature thing. The red wheel thing comes towards Sonic, and then he just like parries it, like instant parries it, and the screen kind of goes a bit grey when he does it, and he just punches it into oblivion and then just like runs off. It's like it is just nothing. And I'm like, Sonic should not have that level of power.
Like natively, do you reckon they're going to do something with the emeralds?
Well, I don't know. Like, I'm pretty sure like one of these previews mentioned that Sonic's trying to collect the emeralds, implying that there's 7 different areas that you have, like, because this is only the first island, right? This isn't the whole game, obviously, and there's meant to be 28 sub levels as well, which are like classic 3D Sonic gameplay, and that seems to be what is in an NDA until the 29th of June. Which matches up with some Nintendo Direct rumors, doesn't it? Anyway,
doesn't it just? It's so juicy. It's so juicy. Wait. So this, what we've seen so far, is that still connected or is that segmented as well?
No, it's essentially like big open islands, open zone, Aha, look, coming back to the start of the conversation. That's what the open zone is. It's this big, big zone, and then there's meant to be multiples of them. I was under the impression at first that there were 4 for some reason, but apparently it might be 7 if there's one for each emerald. And then you've got 28 little sub levels spread amongst there as well, which is kind of I don't know what the sub levels are for though.
Okay. Well, look. Speaking of coming back to the start of it, in one sentence, why should we be excited for this potential glorious mess of a game?
I would say that we need to be excited for Sonic Frontiers because it is the most ambitious Sonic thing they have done in a long time, and if this is pulled off properly, which it looks like there's going to be flaws, but it doesn't look like it's going to be. It looks like it's going to be very playable. It looks like it's going to be very fun. If they pull this off right, it means a very bright future for what Sonic can actually do. It opens the game just like Sonic Adventure did.
He said it. He said the Sonic Adventure word. He's done it. He's done
That
it.
off on your bingo sheets.
Yep. We should have done bigger shapes.
20 minutes to do it. There you go.
Oh,
there you go.
was that 20 minutes? Oh, we can edit that down to 5.
No, don't do that. Don't do that, Peter.
Fine, we'll edit it to 19.
What about the other? The question on my mind is, will it run on Switch?
Oh, well, that is a very good question, isn't it, Barlow? I think my Switch is going to set on fire. I think you got to dust your Switch out so it'll so there's less flammable material around it.
Does look like that, doesn't it?
It's a little too big for the Switch.
You both have PS5s, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And Xboxes.
Yes.
So what console are you
yes.
going?
Yes.
There's our flex. I'll be getting this on Series X for sure.
I think I want it on the 5 in case they have the adaptive triggers, because I think that would they could do something really cool with like the haptic feedback.
That would be very cool.
And the adapters to do with the way that Sonic does things.
Good point. Peter, you're going to round up the trilogy by going on Switch?
Well, I'm a tragic Sonic collector, so I will be getting it on Switch and PS4. And I will likely get it on PS5 whenever I get a PS5 as well. Although I can probably just do the upgrade.
Right, yeah, let's hope.
Do I get an Xbox copy anyway? Maybe.
Well, look, one purpose of this podcast is we will wear you down and you will get an Xbox.
Yeah,
Isn't that
eventually.
right, Zora?
I'm just going to...
One of us.
One of us.
Aw, who knows? Eventually. Well, I can't let you wear me down that quick.
No. Won't happen. All right. Shall we take a break?
Yeah, let's take a break. Let's take a quick break, and we'll be back in a moment. So obviously, apart from Sonic, which is my favourite thing from the whole thing, actually not quite my favourite thing, but we'll come to that in a minute. We had at the start of June, I think it was the 2nd of June, there was the State of Play, Sony's State of Play, which was pretty good. Take us through it, Barlow.
Well, I think this was the best State of Play they've ever done. And you might say, oh, they've been better ones surely than this, because there's no like big first party announcement. But go back and look at the other State of Plays. Pray tell what was better. Because I will wait. They have done these things called PlayStation showcases, and I'm doing heavy inverted commas around the mic right now. But they've only done 2 of those since they kind of dogged E3 back in 2018 kind of days. And those tend to be in September when the 2 times they've happened, and they go hard. Like if you remember the PS5 reveal event, that counted as one of those. And then they had one last year with the Spider-Man 2 and the Wolverine and the really hype long-term thingies. But this one they prepared us, it was 30 minutes long, and they said it's only going to be third parties and VR. But it ended up being hardly any VR, a couple of very small first party things, and then some of the biggest third parties that they, particularly in the realm of exclusives, that they could have brought. And they started with one of my favorite announcements of the whole month so far, the remake of Resident Evil 4. How do you guys feel about Resi?
I'm super excited. Genuinely hope that they follow the same path of Resident Evil 2 remake. 3 was good.
Great game.
3 was good, but 2 definitely hit it out of the ballpark.
Oh yeah.
may have lost the ballpark, how well they did it. So I'm hoping 4 can recapture that magic.
Yes, that would be great. I think it's going to be along the lines of that reimagining technicality that they did with 2 and 3, where they kind of take the same characters and general story, but they mix up the level order, kind of do what they want. The thing about Resident Evil 4 is this is the first remake they've done where it was already a behind the shoulder third person perspective. So they need to, drastically change up some things to keep within that reimagining brand. So I don't think it's going to please everyone. But Leon, he looks so pretty.
What if they went back to tank controls?
Yes, that's what. That's how they do it. They just go back to take control. Zora, I'd be there for that. My word, that would
Play
be
the heartbeat.
it'd be an experience and a half. Oh man, it's interesting because they just did Village, Resident Evil Village last year, which was already very similar in setting and tone and action focus to Resident Evil 4. So, parts of this trailer that they showed, they didn't show much gameplay at all. But the tone was very much in line with, oh, you liked Village? Maybe you should play this, even though we released it almost more than Skyrim. Maybe actually more than Skyrim over the years.
Will it play on my fridge though?
I think it will.
Good.
Like we joke, but if you got a smart fridge, probably.
Probably stream it.
No, my fridge is dumb. I have I actually look. I'm not a massive Resi fan. I totally appreciate what they are, but it's been. I mean, the last Resi experience I actually had was Resident Evil 2 back on the PlayStation 1.
Oh, you're more OG than me then.
Yeah. So like, I haven't really played any of them since. Or did I play? No, wait. Which one had Nemesis? Was that number 3?
That was 3.
That was 3. Okay, cool. So it was number 3 on the PlayStation 1, which was cool. But I don't really have that sort of connection. But it's funny what you say about that. This Resident Evil 4 remake giving the vibes of Village, because that is definitely what I picked up on. Is that it's definitely going for the same crowd that loved Village. Obviously, that same crowd is Resi fans from what I can tell, but I picked up on a lot of that kind of vibe from that one.
Yeah, they showed a little bit of gameplay later in the Capcom showcase, but it was literally just 10 seconds of Leon walking.
Yeah.
Still made me lose my mind, of course. Yeah, brilliant. I've become a Resident Evil fan at the very beginning of 2019 with Resident Evil 2 Remake. I'm with Zora. I think it's one of the best games I've ever played. To turn me into a survival horror fan, maybe not. Well, survival horror, not horror. Let's be clear. I don't play the indie horror games that just want to scare me, but anything with like the resource management and the old school lock and key game design, sign me up.
Yeah, no, that sounds that does sound really good. I should really try that. I feel like you're selling me on Resi 2, very much so. So I should really do that. See, to me, Resi 2, what I think of is like, it just makes me think of Kill Switch Engage, because I'm thinking of Resident Evil 2, the film. Which
obviously not where I thought we were going to go.
It's very different.
Kill Switch Engage.
Very different. I love Kill Switch. It's been a while since I listened to them. Anyway, yes, it just makes me think of. Have you seen that film? It's atrocious. You should definitely watch it if you haven't.
Are these the live action ones?
Yeah.
Or the weird CG ones?
No,
the Mila Jovovich ones.
Yeah,
no, I haven't seen any of those.
They're a time.
They are a time. Yes.
You go there for ridiculous zombie stuff. I mean, that's why you go to Resident Evil, I feel.
That's it. The more ridiculous, the better.
The movies take the ridiculousness definitely into another direction, but yeah, it's definitely something else and worth dedicating maybe like a time through the year to watch all of them, because they're fun.
They are fun.
Okay.
I think the second one is like there's a facility or something that they're trying to get into or out of or something, and it's just it's so bad. I love it. I'm gonna go rewatch them. Not right now, but like we will. Yeah. Take a break and you can go rewatch it. Yeah, then come back to the podcast.
Amazing. Beauty of podcasts, audio files. You can do what you want.
Exactly.
But real good reason to go play Resident Evil 2 if you have a good PC or next gen console, sorry, current gen console, is that later on at the Capcom showcase, they also announced shadow drops of next gen patches, including ray tracing and high frame rate modes and all that stuff. So the games look even better, but they also looked really good on PS4. So I don't think you need to, but like if you were on the fence like Peter and you've got the console, just saying, you know,
Yeah,
why not try it?
yeah, definitely. I was really surprised that they did 7 as well for that, which was, yeah, I just didn't really see Biohazard getting that sort of upgrade. That was really cool. That was really cool.
Well, yeah, I think, yeah, 7 was the one that like 2 may have got me on board, but 7 was the last one they did before that, and that was like the modern Resident Evil era starting. Um, does anyone know if that was on the RE engine, the first one they did on the RE engine?
Yeah, it was on the RE engine.
Oh, awesome! That's like the best engine going right now. That isn't obviously Unreal Engine 5, but yeah, Capcom's putting their whole suite on it, so they can even like the remake they did of like the Ghouls and Goblins one or whatever it's called, the 2D game that was on the RE engine. Monster Hunter Rise on the Switch was running on it. It's just an insanely optimized engine, and it's yeah, all their games look really pretty, and they don't even have the same look to them. They just look good. And now the segue to Street Fighter 6, which came back with a re-reveal. We had seen only that terrible original logo,
Oh, that was
and
awful, wasn't it?
a close-up of how jacked Ryu looked with his new facial hair as well. But this one was like a full-on reveal. They are bringing back this exciting visual style with like these paint splotches and ribbons that go around that are color-coded based on your moves and all that. There's like a bunch of new meters and stuff. It's shipping with an actual like story mode, and that story mode involves you like walking around a 3D plane and all that. What did you guys feel about this?
I gotta say I was really excited for this one. Now I'm not good at fighting games, but I like them. Yeah, I think Zora, you can attest to that I'm really not good at fighting games. We've played a few, and yeah,
We're about the same.
you beat me any day. But yes, I remember playing Pokken with you. So I'm really excited for Street Fighter 6 just because of and for me it's mainly that like 3D mode because I want something to recapture how good Streets of Rage felt for me. And I don't know, like I get the impression that that might work for me, like that sort of like adventuring around and then beating the hell out of someone and then walking away and stuff like that. I reckon that might work for me, so I'm pretty excited to see where it goes. 100%, yeah. And the art is gorgeous, like that art style, kind of like the how each character seems to have a different, almost like some sort of different way that they are depicted. Like kind of for Chun-Li, you've got this sort of watercolor way that she's moving, and then like you've got this like it's kind of a lot more heavy when it comes to Ryu. And I like the is it Luke and Jamie, the other two? Luke and Jamie are the other two, so like they can they have their different styles, and it's like really fun. Like it just it's got a lot of personality, which I'm happy to see.
The character Jamie, I didn't play Street Fighter 5, but I believe it's Jamie whose fighting style is based off the Drunken Master trope, or like Jackie Chan, like old school movie and stuff, where all the moves you can do are like based on getting drunker, which I find hilarious. Yeah, I've got a lot of friends that are really into fighting games. I don't know why I hang out with these people just to get my ass handed to me every time we hang out. No, I do because they're lovely people.
Loser buys drinks.
Who tolerate me. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, seeing this passion, particularly from a couple of mates who like, they're not really, into Tekken or whatever. Street Fighter used to be the thing, and apparently Street Fighter 4 was like, decent, but it was exclusive to PlayStation and didn't get like, the support that some of the other ones did. And then Street Fighter 5 apparently massive disappointment for a lot of that, not for everyone, but for that core group. So there's a lot of excitement over these new mechanics with Street Fighter 6 and all that. So a bit like you with Sonic, I'm enjoying really taking in the positivity for once.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was really interesting that they showed off the gameplay trailers in State of Play and the Capcom showcase as well. I think it was mentioned there as well, or is that just a fever dream? I'm not sure.
No, it was mentioned. Didn't get any new info, but
they
Yeah,
were
didn't even
they
get the 10 seconds of Leon walking, but we'll come
no.
back to the Capcom show.
They actually gave a bunch of influencers gameplay reveals, which is really interesting. I know the one who I mainly saw from it was Rex, from the UK. They had like a
Okay.
bunch of stuff about like kind of like yeah how they fight and the different combos and stuff. So it was really interesting, and like apparently you can see how they've changed how they all control and how the combos flow better from 5 into 6, and it's going back to a kind of more natural Street Fighter style, which everyone lost their minds over apparently. So I'm very happy for them. I'm extremely happy for them. I don't sound like it, but very happy.
Yeah, look, keen. I'll probably end up picking this one up, if only for the extra content at launch. Anyway, those were the two of the biggest ones. There were two other big ones, but I'm just going to do a lightning round real quick. There was some VR stuff. Real quick, you guys into VR too?
Love the idea of more VR. I'm very excited to see what they do with it. I just want to see more, or even just what they're planning on to be sort of like their launch base. Because I know last time they had such a magnificent title, such as like Astrobot, that was massive.
Yeah,
So
apparently really good.
are they gonna follow up with something just as good? Are they gonna use potentially Horizon as their jump into, as their like welcome to VR two?
Yeah, they did debut Horizon Call of the Mountain gameplay footage at this thing. That was probably the highlight of that tiny VR section. They also showed The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, and they showed, quite confusingly to me, No Man's Sky, even though that already is on PSVR 1. So I don't know what's going on there.
I think they're adding, I think maybe more depth to the world, and the higher resolution is going to go a long way for No Man's Sky, at least.
Yes, no, it will. Yeah, sure. They've certainly got that. They got the power of the PS5. So yeah. I wonder if it means you're gonna have to buy it again. But yeah.
Probably.
Anyway, yeah. Yeah, big one for PC fans who've been waiting for, who's just haven't had a PS4 and really like the look of Spider-Man. Spider-Man Remastered and later confirmed on the blog, Miles Morales coming to PC. Those games are incredible. So yeah, a good get there.
That's really cool that Miles Morales is coming as well. I hadn't heard that. That's wicked. Yeah, very good. I still not played that, but yeah, we'll soon.
Yeah, better gameplay, a lot shorter, so they can't do as much cool stuff with the character. But yeah, I'd say on balance, just as good, or maybe just slightly under. But yeah, they also showed off that Tunic, one of my personal picks for Game of the Year so far, which was a brief Xbox and PC exclusive, is coming to PlayStation at the end of a 6-month exclusivity deal in September. They showed a new indie which looks beautiful and cerebral, called Seasonal Letter to the Future. They showed Rollerdrome, which is a new game from the Oli Oli World developer. And Oli Oli World is one of the highest rated games of this year.
That
And
comes
that
out
looks
on my
like,
birthday as well.
yeah,
So, fun
yeah,
fact,
that
I'm
August
pretty happy
16th.
for
There
that.
you
Yeah,
go. That's it. That's it. All
legit
you
excited.
listeners, you know what to send Peter on August 16th. The final bit of that sort of was Eternites, which looked like this is like the token anime game for the state of play. But more interesting was the story of its development, which came out through the developer on Twitter afterwards, which is apparently it was someone who played Persona 5 and whose life was so changed by it, they quit their job and decided to learn how to make games. And this is their attempt at it, which is just wild to see. This game looks quite good for that kind of backstory.
Yeah, wow. I hadn't heard that, yeah, I definitely got the Persona 5 vibes. It's like I know that's a bit of a meme, like oh, this is like Persona 5, but yeah, I really did get that kind of vibe from it. So that's really cool. I was actually again one of my kind of more anticipated games from State of Play. I'll level with you.
Yeah, just looked like some sort of hand sword action gameplay mixed with like a dating sim. But yeah, there was
You have my money.
there you go. That's it. That's it. And speaking of my money, Stray is finally with release date, July 19th. So that one's coming in less than a month. The cat game that we've all been waiting for, which looks post-apocalyptic and all you're hiding from robots and stuff. It looks incredible. Will also be given away as part of one of the higher tier of PS Plus things, which I think we'll come back to. But yeah, Good to finally get a confirmation that yes, that game exists as a game and it's coming out soon.
There's just a lot of good games and not enough time to play them.
Just pouring at the bit for it, you know.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
But
But yeah, the two biggest. Sorry, I need a moment to recover from that.
I'm never going to. I can't think of the meme. I was going to say financially recover from this, but emotionally recover from this. There we go. Yes.
Ken all those doors, both, for sure. The two biggest non-Capcom things, though, were the debut of footage from the Callisto Protocol, which was, amusingly enough, actually debuted at one of Jeff Keighley's events a couple of years ago. Can't remember if it was Summer Game Fest or Game Awards, but it was announced as being part of the PUBG universe, and now it just isn't. It's from some of the old Dead Space developers, namely the main head one. And it's coming out December 2nd, which means it'll be out before the actual EA Dead Space remake that they didn't let him make, basically, in next January. So, this one looks properly scary, but also very, very pretty. And finally, Final Fantasy 16, which I'm just so excited to play. So excited. I don't want to gush about how good it looks. But it's in good hands. It's from one of the big money makers at Square at the moment, Yoshi P, who does Final Fantasy 14 stuff. It was introduced in a very kind of grounded way and very real way, I thought. And there's a bunch of summon battles. You get to control Final Fantasy summons in giant kaiju battles. And the trailer ended with just operatic sort of faux Latin chorus singing the names of the summons as they came on the screen. So just give me it in the middle of next year, apparently.
As always, it looks very, very pretty.
And also it's got one of the Devil May Cry people directing the combat, which is huge.
Oh, that's gonna be really good.
Yeah, so even more action focused than 15 was, I think. But yeah, any other thoughts on State of Play?
Just shiny, whole thing.
Yeah, whole thing was shiny. Yeah, it was good.
So shiny, so shiny. All right.
Yeah, I think I agree with you as far as maybe it wasn't so much for me, a lot of it, but I absolutely recognize how good that State of Play was. It was just packed with fantastic games. There wasn't really a miss in the entire thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I'll have to agree there. And the wild thing about it was that we were expecting not much, because there was already no E3, no actual ESA, the people who run E3, involved this year. So Keighley stepped up, and various other people, who he's got contacts everywhere now. So there were a lot of the same shows there, but a lot of the big people were missing. Ubisoft was missing. Nintendo didn't have a show. But I had an old saying back in the day, because I've been watching E3s for a long time, where the best E3s are where the Nintendo show, which usually goes last, where they feel like dessert when you're not going there looking for your main course. And if Nintendo is to have a show this year, or this month, then I would say, we ate pretty well during the Summer Games Fest and Game Fest. And State of Play was a lovely entree.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think that's a really good way of looking at it, actually, because, Nintendo Directs generally high quality, usually pump out a lot of hits. Really, it's pretty much always a good time. So having that as the little cherry on top this time is quite nice.
Do you want to go on to Keighley's show?
Yeah, we'll go into as Zora has written in the chat, Key 3. That was a pretty big one. Hey, so
it was the longest one easily. I think it had about an extra 15-20 minutes on Microsoft's one. And it was the longest.
Yeah, it was definitely, as far as I'm, because the kickoff was it was the kickoff show, right?
This one I think doesn't. Zora's just shared the same thing I'm looking at.
Because I searched I searched for it and it came up for the 2021 one. It was like Tiny Tina's Wonderland. What the
Yeah, right. Great minds, you guys, great minds. Yeah, this one doesn't, I think, play as well when you just read out the announcements. I think this one was one to watch live. If you've missed it,
I think the
missed the
issue.
vibe of like it being live and a bit of that awkwardness that we didn't quite get with all the pre-recorded stuff the rest of the month. You know, this was the place to get it, but really, for a 2-hour show, like there were a couple big things here that we can probably easily smash through. I think unless you were there, like, you know, watching it live, I don't know if it's worth going back and watching the whole thing.
I'd say
Like a state of
no.
play might be.
Yeah, I would say no. Like the pacing was pretty off for this one, if you ask me. Like it started kind of like a bit fizzly, and there were some really good, like really impressive things in there as well. Some really fun reveals. My favorite trailer of the entirety of this
The
whole
Goat
period.
Simulator one?
Oh yes, that was fantastic, wasn't it? That was absolutely wonderful. Like that. What a
was
trailer!
yelling.
It was just.
Zora, did you watch it?
I was genuinely yelling at the Goat Simulator trailer when it came on.
Do you want to explain for the people who haven't watched it what it was?
So it basically it opens up with playing the music from the Dead Island 2 trailer that aired, what was it, 2017? Maybe earlier?
Was it that long
Could
ago?
be earlier. I don't know. It's so long.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Then it suddenly, they just go, nah, they swipe to a different song. And then they got a character model there, which is in the exact same outfit, running it down the same beach, till suddenly this goat just shows up out of nowhere and just roundhouses someone off the side of the beach. What would you call that? Like the pier?
The
Like,
promenade.
the promenade. And it
Promenade.
just goes up to haywire and chaos after that. Goat Simulator 3, something to watch out for.
Get this. E3 2014, that original Dead Island 2 trailer.
No.
Feel old yet?
Oh my god.
Oh, no. What? That's ridiculous.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
I was
Do you
still
think
living
we're
in-
ever going to get it?
I was still living in the UK. That's how long ago that was. Ridiculous.
I was still living in Wii U denial land.
What a choice you have made.
Exactly. Oh my word. Yeah, also, there was no Goat Simulator 2.
Yeah, okay, right. I was thinking that. I was like, I don't remember Goat Simulator 2 coming out. What? They're just. I love these. Is it Coffee Stain?
Yeah.
They're wonderful. They have my
Such
heart.
people who have brought you Satisfactory.
Oh, is it the same team?
Same team as well, yeah.
One of your favorite games, if I'm not mistaken, Zora.
They are it is indeed there. They do a lot of stuff I like. Even Deep Rock Galactic, Valheim.
Okay. Yeah, all right.
They
Valheim
are
coming soon
pumping
to...
out the hits.
Yeah, awesome. Let's go to another highlight. Because, look, there was a trend that there were a lot of, like, Callisto Protocol style
Oh yeah.
sci-fi horror games.
What was it? There was
and
that-
it's just really unfortunate. And I heard someone, I forget who said it on what thing I was listening to, but they were saying it's because 5 years ago when people started making these games, 4 years ago, this is what everyone wanted. And now poor Jeff Keighley is like having to deal with the fact that, oh, all I have is like, you know, half the show feels like it's new sci-fi horror games. One of which, by the way, another Aliens game that didn't actually show gameplay till the very end, which is not a good sign. Not a good sign. But not quite sci-fi horror, but one of the other highlights, I think we can say, was the trailer for Metal Hellsinger. Zora, why don't you take this away?
So, Metal Hellsinger, I'm so excited for one. There's already a demo out. I can't praise it enough. It is essentially it's a rhythm-based shooter hack and slash where the better you are, they bring in metal vocalists when your multiplier goes up. So if you maintain a high multiplier, I'll get there with the word, you get the badass vocals of just all these metal artists. There's the lead singer from System of a Down. There's, I believe, a Trivium lead singer as well as there.
Proper metal people.
I've got like you've got like Randy Blythe from Lamb of God. I think it's Angela Gosso from Arch Enemy as well. I'm an ex-metalhead, you know, like in case we haven't figured that out already. So there's just like the caliber of who you've got. I think it's Anders from In Flames as well. Like the caliber of singers who you have in Metal Hellsinger is ridiculous. They're so good. Sorry, carry on.
No, all good. And they did a thing, essentially, to summarize it, it's Doom. It's just Doom to rhythm.
It
I would
looked
absolutely
incredible.
love Mick Gordon to come on just to do some music for them.
That would be great.
That would be great.
there
His
was a-
name did get dropped.
Yeah, there was
he
a
was on
Mick Gordon
something
one,
else.
wasn't there? Yeah, I'm gonna have a look for
I
that.
feel terribly un-Aussie for forgetting which one it was. Oh, The Routine, which was one of the
Yes,
horror sci-fi games. He's writing some music for it. Great composer.
With the Metal Hellsinger, I decided to give a go of the demo not too long, like basically the day it got announced. I had to play it. They give you access to 4 different weapons. Watching it, just like, again, there's actually going to be maybe another 3 or 4 more weapons in addition to what they already give you in the demo. So they give you like a skull, shotgun, dual pistols, and a sword. And they have this really cool way of, you know how Doom has that ability where you go up and you melee an enemy and they just burst into giblets and you get yourself some health back.
I love the word.
They make you do that.
That's a great word for it.
They make you do that to the rhythm of them flashing on the beat. So then you dash to them and just slice them into just meaty chunks. And it's when that moment when they've captured it perfectly. That moment when you hit 16-time multiplier and they have like a second vocalist come in on the same track is just so amazing. They give you
sick.
a male and female vocalist in the demo. I strongly recommend, if you haven't played it, please play it.
I think it's on everything. I can confirm I had it downloaded on Series X. I haven't had the chance to play it yet. It's out very soon. Like, it's out on the 15th of September.
Yes.
Oh wow. Yeah. Yeah, that's wicked. I'll have to try that if it's on PS4. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Nice.
Yeah, there it is.
Nice.
Awesome. We also got the first demo of Call of Duty gameplay for the new Modern Warfare 2. I mean, it's Call of Duty. I'll probably buy it. Whatever. But not much to say unless you guys have something to say about it.
Shooty, good times.
Shooty good times. They're remaking or doing a sequel to Flashback from 30 years ago. That was unexpected. Witchfire looks cool from like another. I think that's only ever been shown on Keeley joints before. That one is like, I don't know. Just check it out. Another shooter that looks really cool. Not quite rhythmic, but Doom-like. Yeah. Looking here as well, like American Arcadia was there as well, but I thought it had a better showing at the Tribeca Festival, which I'll come back to showcase. Midnight Suns, I know, is getting dunked on a little bit because it got the CG trailer, and I'm like, October 7th is a release date, but what? What? We don't even know how the game plays. But then they did a Sonic thing where it was like, oh no, an embargo just lifted, and you can go and like watch everyone play 30 minutes of it.
I haven't seen that yet.
I like XCOM style, games. I like card-based gameplay. Benefit of the doubt's going to these guys. It is by Firaxis who do XCOM, so I think it's on Switch as well. Could be wrong.
They also did. They also masterfully used Master of Puppets in that trailer, which was fantastic. I had to mute that when I was watching it because I was like streaming it. I was like, oh no, just in case. I know what Metallica are like. But no, that was I really liked that trailer. Like, yeah, apart from the fact that, yeah, it was a CG trailer. It was just fun. It was just fun. And they used their music well.
They sure did. The new SMT game, Soul Hackers 2, looks really good.
Yes.
That one was another one that probably lived less in this show and more about more in the hands-on presentate the impressions that went live later.
Yeah.
So that's worth checking out. There's a lot of footage out there. That one's coming in August, and August is, aside from Rollerdrome and some other stuff, is usually quite light and is this year as well. So
they just announced the English cast for that as well. Which is
it did.
Yeah, like Zach Aguilar and Erica Mendez and stuff. So there's decent people.
A lot of the usuals if you play a lot of Persona games and other JRPGs, for sure.
There's a Jack Frost clone.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. The One Piece Odyssey looks really ambitious, but I'm not a One Piece guy. I don't know if you guys are. Do you have anything to say about that?
I think I need to see some more gameplay of that one.
No, fair. The new Saints Row has a demo you can download where you make your character, which apparently they did with some older Saints Row games, but not the first 2 or 3 that I played. So yeah, apparently that's been a thing for a while, but it's just a really good idea, because some people, Saints Row, you can usually spend 2-3 hours in your character creator, so get that out of the way before it launches in August as well.
I had to play around with that actually.
Oh, cool. Yeah, good.
You can get wildly in depth. It's instead of picking a gender, you actually just pick a body build with a slider, which is in a really cool way that they do it on a triangle system.
That's cool.
Oh yeah. I think Roller Champions does that as well. I'm just
Yes.
gonna get in mentions of Roller Champions because Ubisoft didn't.
Right?
Get
That
out
game
here
looks
and
great.
signal boost your game. I love that game, but no one's playing it. And the ones that are playing it are ball hogs. Anyway, we're not here to talk about that. So
We'll have a separate episode for that where you can gripe about it. Don't you worry.
look, it's working quite. That's fine. Look, personally, on a personal note, I think the best trailer, aside from Goat Sim, of course, was the Warhammer Darktide one, which looks awesome.
That does.
Because I didn't get into Vermintide, which is the Plague of Rats game, where it's co-op and you go through all that. But this is that, but more sci-fi mixed with the orcs and all that. I've never really played a Warhammer game, but I know these guys make good ones. And it's coming. I think it's on Game Pass as well, and it's coming in. It's another September one, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm keen to give that one a go. And on a personal note, a couple of shadow drops, basically games that were announced with release dates: TMNT Shredder's Revenge and Neon White. But I will get back to those at the end of the podcast. And then, of course, there was the one thing they ended on, which was equal parts awkward, depressing, and kind of cool, was The Last of Us Part 1, which is a remake of a 9-year-old game on the PS3 that has already been remastered on the PS4. What did you guys think of this one?
My opinion on this, and it may be a kind of like grunty caveman opinion, is that they are wasting their time and they are wasting resources they could be using on making a new Jack and Daxter game.
There it is. There it is. Look, you're not alone in that one, I think.
Look, I think there's a time and a place for remakes. I do not think this is it because it's had a remaster relatively recently. As far as I can, like, yes, the character models are really nice, and it's pretty, but as far as I'm concerned, it's a cash grab and nothing more than that. It doesn't feel like it's got much soul, in my opinion. But then again, I may have not understood what they're trying to convey. But yeah, sorry, pretty critical on that one. Sorry. Yeah.
It's fine. That's what it's for. That's what it's for. What about you, Zora?
It might be time that I finally actually sit down and play more than the first opening chapter of the game.
Oh, that's right. We were talking about this one. Look, fair. That is a brutal opening. I do
Yeah.
not blame you for not wanting to continue after that. It just takes your emotions and just grinds them into paste.
It really does, doesn't it? That's
Yeah.
I've only played the opening chapter as well.
It's like, ooh, no, I'm good. I'm good. Hey, thank you. Like,
Well,
you can see, I can see the game. I can respect it. It's beautiful. The storytelling is, from what I can tell, phenomenal. However, why punch me in the heart in the first 10 minutes like that?
That's
I
what
mean,
Neil
I
Druckmann
understand
wants to
why.
do.
I mean, it's exactly what he wants to do. So I think I might be jumping on it when it does release. Plus, with the PS5, I'm wondering if they will have some fun with the triggers again. Like, I really like the idea of the adaptive
they will.
triggers.
They will. They will. It is a
will
nice idea.
Will
I
it
wish
make the game
games
more
used it.
stressful? Maybe.
Yeah, look, definitely didn't need that. Yes. The cool thing that they did mention, and they, considering it's coming out September, which is one huge point in its favor, if you ask me, because if it was coming out at the start of next year, I'd be like, yeah, cool, nice, I've already played you. But I might give it a go just because they were talking about making the combat more like number 2, which had a much more in-depth combat. Even the DLC they did for part 1 had much better combat and much more creative uses of it. So we will see. But it is it's like only 15 hours long. But I remember struggling to get through it because I was just like, in 2013, I was like putting everything else aside so I didn't get spoiled. So every time I died was extra frustrating. And yeah, we'll see. But it was an interesting meander to end on, I suppose, in terms of how long it took to, in terms of stage time and all that. It was a big get for Jeff Keighley. I understood why he wanted to talk to Neil and Troy Baker and Ashley Johnson for a while as well, because they were also talking about the show coming soon, and they also showed a single screenshot or concept art from the new multiplayer thing, which is apparently turning into its own game. So Neil is very busy, and his team is too. So, and Neil is also making his own untitled game, which is going to be interesting to see as well. But that's it. That's Summer Game Fest. Should we take another break?
There is just one thing you've forgotten, and we do have to point it out before the break, and that is...
Is it? Have I forgotten The Rock?
You've forgotten The Rock.
How dare I? That's terrible of me. Oh, no.
His energy drink that he held up to the camera like 3 times. It's just like, you gotta drink Zoa energy. And I'm like, oh yeah. Yeah, why? Why?
Yeah, because that was such live awkwardness energy.
It was.
Yeah, because I thought, yeah, despite like how long it was and whatever, like you didn't need to watch it back if
It,
you didn't watch it live. What I was saying earlier, he was. I do think Jeff really cut down on the ads, some of
he
the
did.
obvious ads from the last couple of years, but then this one was the one that he let slip to the keeper. Yeah,
Look, I
but it was awkward fun.
it almost
I
felt
have
like a
one.
bit, you know?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely a bit. Out of all of Summer Game Fest, don't like saying it that way.
Yeah,
Um,
weird, isn't it?
Well done.
I only have one game that I know that I'm personally excited for because I would love to give it a go. Is the Honkai Star Rail? It's the Space Genshin Impact.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, skimmed over that one, didn't I? Yeah, they had two reveals, I think, or two trailers at least. Those developers,
Yes,
because they got Star
Zenless
Rail.
Zone Zero.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
the
which
other
is
one, wasn't
another
it?
ZZZ. Yeah, there was also a new look at Cuphead, but that the DLC, but that came back multiple times. Yeah, and there was a bunch of other stuff worth checking out. If you're into it, but yeah, perhaps yeah, can we let's kick on.
Yeah. All right, we'll take a quick break and yeah, we'll be back for more soon. Okay, so Summer Game Fest opening was pretty big. Lots of nice chunky reveals in there. Especially depending on what you're into, whether it's Last of Us or Marvel or Metal Hellsinger. There's a whole bunch of cool stuff. There's something kind of for everyone there, which was quite nice. And then we had some other showcases as well. The big one of these, I'm gonna go ahead and say, probably the Xbox One, but a really cool one that we're going to talk about first is Devolver. Devolver Digital's was it the Wholesome Direct or was that a different thing?
A lot of presentations that might have debuted last year with the Digital E3, including the Wholesome Direct. Then there was like the Future Game Show, which I think was there like a couple of years ago. PC Gaming Show, all these things like they kind of came back. Devolver was one of them, but Devolver's always been like, well, at least for me, I guess, in terms of like presentation value, the best among like, if not all the shows, then among all the indie ones for sure, at least. But I think this year, even though some of the jokes weren't as like cutting, I suppose, they got Suda51 to act as an AI in a mech and count down almost an entire minute at the start, and we just watched it happen. um, uh, and uh, and they did some really cool sight gags. I'd recommend. It's 25 minutes long. I've been recommending it all month. If you got time, just watch it on YouTube. But also all 5 games that they showed were bangers. They had great soundtracks, heaps good pacing, and at least one of them, the Plucky Squire, was arguably the new indie of the show, like the breakout trailer.
Well, this is the one that is my favorite game of the entirety of these reveals. Because I'm really down for that sort of thing, and also knowing who it's by, knowing who the art director, like kind of directing it is, who, for those who don't know, that's James Turner, who is the art director for Pokemon Sword and Shield, has left Game Freak, started their own studio, and this is their first game. It's just gorgeous, and it's really inventive. I'm really happy. I'm really happy about it. I've watched that trailer like so many times. So many times.
Zora, did you see this one?
I did, yes. I thought Plucky looks absolutely adorable. I'm kind of here for it. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I think it was one of the shortest trailers of the whole show, but it just really got its point across so efficiently. It starts like in a storybook and doesn't leave. So the gameplay is your moving illustration, and then they show a bunch of different types of gameplay within that. And then the moment of the trailer, he just leaves it and goes into the 3D world around it, and then goes back into like a mug and other stuff, like Super Mario Odyssey style. Just looks awesome.
It does, and it's really cool, like seeing that like art style translate so well over to 3D. Because okay, cool. So I follow James on Twitter, and every so often they post like little that in that kind of style. in that kind of style, these sort of really cute Pokemon or like Mario sketches or little Sonic ones or little celebrations of video games in general. The dude just clearly loves video games, which is awesome. And so it's really nice seeing like an original game with original artwork in that style too. Like, yeah, I'm in love with it, man. Yeah.
No, it's good.
So
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, they also showed a game called Angerfoot, which already has a demo, which is like first person Hotline Miami and looks like just the energy drink crazy. Also Skate Story, which is like just it's an experience watching that trailer, particularly if you're into skating or lo-fi, and if you're into both. Yeah, it's an experience. I can't quite see like where the gameplay is going to be because it's a very dynamic camera. But that game looks awesome.
You said one of the games had Hotline Miami sort of vibes. Does it have the soundtrack as well?
Oh no, no, no. It's much
Oh,
more aggressive kind of soundtrack. But yeah,
shame.
that's the synthwave vibe you get more from Skate Story.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so good stuff. And then the other one I know Zora's excited for, Cult of the Lamb, getting a release date, also in
Stop.
August.
Little Lamb Cult. I cannot wait. It's just Binding of Isaac meets Stardew Valley. I'm all
That's all
about
you
it.
need to know.
Yeah.
That is such a weird
uh,
description that perfectly. I know exactly what this game is now as well. That's wicked. Oh wow.
that's it. Absolutely. It was one other game they showed, but it was a game that had just come out the week before, called Card Shark, but I'll come back to that later. Moving on from Devolver in terms of generic other stuff, I think from PC Gaming Show, I just kind of had it on in the background. The clear highlight for me from that was the new trailer for System Shock, the remake, which came from a lot of the people that ended up doing Bioshock. The same kind of like evil AI kind of thing, antagonizing you, but with less humor than GLaDOS kind of thing. And that has this kind of soundtrack you might be into, Peter.
Ooh.
But that looks great. We already know that game's great though, so it's kind of a cheat. But yeah, I did also watch the Tribeca selection thing, which is normally a film label.
Yeah, I thought that was a film
They did
thing.
this really cool thing. Yeah, they did this really cool thing where you could buy like a digital ticket and then play a demo for every game they showed. But every game was like, and they did this in Day of the Devs as well, which is another presentation. There were so many. They spent good time with each game, showing, behind the scenes footage, explaining what the game's about, kind of thing. I was there to watch the new game from Sam Barlow's studio. He did Her Story and Telling Lies. I didn't actually play Telling Lies, but Her Story is one of my favorite games ever, where you had to like there's an actress on like a VHS style grainy footage feed, and you have to like put together the non-chronological clips to try and piece together the story, and people can get to the twists in different orders. And this one is based off three lost movies by this, which featured this actress, and like, yeah, it's like haunting and weird, and yeah, just right up my alley. And also, it had a Plague Tale, which was also shown at the Xbox showcase. The sequel to A Plague Tale: Innocence, one of my favorite and most surprising games of 2019. The sequel, A Plague Tale: Requiem, apparently coming September, if we're to believe some leaks, and the order of Xbox's thing they put up later. Can't wait for that game. And hearing the developers talk about it, French studio that did Flight Simulator as well, so they know how to make a pretty game.
Mm.
And finally, the only place, to my knowledge, where we saw Oxenfree 2, one of my most anticipated games, was at the Tribeca thing as well, and that looks great. Apparently, the Wholesome Direct this year, which I watched last year because I had a lot more time off, I think. This year, it had 92 games in it.
That's a lot of games.
Good God.
Yeah, and a lot of them are like you really start to notice indie trends. It's a bit like that sci-fi horror thing for the AAA stuff. There's a lot of like photography, Pokemon Snap style games. There's a lot of farming games. There's a lot of frog games.
Frog is a genre. I love that.
Just gets the vibe. But yeah, do you want to move on to Xbox?
Yeah, let's do it. So yeah, Xbox showcase as the Xbox and Bethesda showcase. That was what was that, the 12th, 13th of June, something like that. Yeah, as a big
13th.
chunky 13th,
Yep.
fantastic. That was quite a big chunky one. That was a 90-minute presentation, if I'm correct. And yeah, lots of cool stuff. Lots of cool stuff announced. Zora, why don't you run? I know you watched that one, didn't you?
Yes. I mean, they came right out of the gate with Redfall gameplay. I'm so excited for that one, personally. Like, get Redfall is just, I believe is that the guys who did Dishonored?
Yeah, Arcane. I'm not sure
Arcane.
which Arcane. They've got two teams at least, but they also did Deathloop
Yes.
and Prey.
I love the look of Redfall is essentially like it looks. It's at first you're thinking Left 4 Dead with vampires, but then it becomes more of like more RPG slash just more story driven with a bit of like stealth options, and the world just looks really wild. With like
It does.
like an upside down, like as if it was inspired a little bit by Stranger Things in that regard, like an alternate world. I'm
What
super
isn't?
keen for it. I mean, true. Plus, also with that sort of the titling, they're not afraid to be a little bit funny with what they're doing. I think your favorite thing was the that I think you were going on about is the girl with the powers. What was her title again?
The threat with student debt or something like that. The psychic threat with student debt.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, they love their tongue-in-cheek stuff, which is good. Yeah, I also immediately wanted to play as her because she has cool psychic powers that create hard constructs that like ferry your teammates and move them physically around the space, which I know when I was playing Back for Blood last year, I could really have used. And I know that they're trying to distance themselves from Back for Blood, but like particularly they started the trailer really like low key, like they didn't really show any of the fantastic stuff. They were trying to do a bit more story thing, but it looked very much like a particular Back 4 Blood level, and I was like, okay, look, I'm in for this. But then it got like increasingly wilder. But of course, this game's been delayed into first half of next year, so we'll get more footage as well. But yeah, I'm very excited to play it.
What would I can't remember what they went straight on after Redfall.
Well, they went into the new. Oh no, they went into the troll. The first look at Hollow Knight Silk Song in years.
Oh right.
That
And
was
they gave us no new information release date wise. But they did say it's coming day one to Game Pass. And the last time we saw this was in a mainline Nintendo Direct, not an indie. So the marketing on this one getting shared around a little bit. But yeah, day one Game Pass, which is pretty huge. And then they moved into the new game from Justin Roiland, his team, the Rick and Morty guy,
Oh, the,
called High on Life with the guns that talk to you and all that. And it looks just High on Life is a great name.
it really is. That was brilliant. Like as far as like a it's immediately just Justin Roiland's world, isn't it? And you hear that voice and you're like, oh yeah, okay, cool. This is going to be weird. Yeah, I really liked it. Especially there was one line from one of the guns where it's like, oh yeah, those are my kids, but don't worry, I can make more. And I was like, what? What are you doing? Yeah, no, good one, Justin. You've sold me already, mate.
That's it. Yeah, and they said it's coming October. And then Sarah Bond came on screen, and this for me, as someone who watches a lot of showcases and really loves like Devolver, like if they're like done well, like or with a particular style that you're not expecting, or this was like very gimmicky but in a good way, where they came on, didn't even prepare us for this, just said 3 games in, oh, everything you see today is targeted for release in the next 12 months. And I don't know if you guys, like how you guys, obviously Zora, you've been keeping up with Xbox probably a little bit more than Peter over the last couple of years, but there are, no joke, at least 10 big games that we've seen as a logo that are supposedly coming as Xbox exclusives. And I'm kind of sick of it. So I didn't want to see, going into the show, I was like, look, if we're just going to see like more CG trailers for like Avowed and Fable, be good to see any gameplay, I suppose. But whatever Everwild is, Contraband, Indiana Jones, State of Decay 3, even still no gameplay. Perfect Dark, which is in a little bit of strife apparently. Outer Worlds 2, stuff like that. All these games they've announced, which developing games is hard. Developing expensive games that are going to compete with PlayStation, quote unquote, is even harder. And doing that in a pandemic, not great, I can imagine. So hearing them turn around and say, well, look, Game Pass subscribers, this is what you'll be playing for the next 12 months. You're going to be eating good. And this is why you should sub.
They definitely went hard on actually showing us what we're gonna get, which I think was probably the best thing they could have done. Because I mean, granted, I wanted to see more Avowed. I would have happily gotten another trailer and been happy with that, but that's fine.
No, I get it. Look, and I'm I don't know if I'm like in the minority, but like I'm not everyone agrees with me from what I see. But yeah, there was also like a bit of that something for everyone energy. But the other thing that was like, aside from next 12 months and most of it was Game Pass, the other thing is that almost every trailer, I think except for the Vin Diesel one for Arc 2, had gameplay, which is huge for, telling us that your game is an actual game.
Yeah, I think that was the best move that Microsoft could have done, is to show you, yeah, cool, all right, these are some really cool things that we've got coming, and yeah, you don't have to wait long. It's a strategy that I saw Nintendo start using a few years ago, where they were like pretty much not revealing a game until it was like 6 months away or something like that, so you didn't really have to
Yeah,
wait
bang
too
on.
long. And you're just like, oh my god, it's coming, when something that you actually want is there. Do you know what I mean? Like, and yeah, I think it's a really good strategy, and 12 months is a decent time frame, especially where they've got a lot of content coming. Yeah, I'm really impressed. Like, as someone who doesn't have an Xbox, I'm like, oh, it's like,
Yet.
like looking through the window. Yet.
One of us.
One of us, yeah.
Oh, I'll have to find a cheap one somewhere. But yeah, just like, it's just, I feel like I'm kind of looking through the window and just like, oh, they're having fun out there. I'm stuck in my room.
Look at all the fun they're having.
especially with a certain announcement from the Xbox Bethesda
Oh,
showcase.
yes,
So
indeed.
yes.
Yes, my word. Well, look, you can bounce right to that. Look, I think the most important thing. Look, there are some big announcements in here, and we'll get to them very quickly. But yeah, just I think the biggest thing about it was the next 12 months thing, because you know, as Xbox going towards this like subscription first model, they want people on the subs, and it's like Netflix saying, okay, cool, here are all these trailers for things that for like a minimum are like a year away. Like you'll have people drop off like flies. So getting people to focus on that, like, August, September, October filling up a lot, like real quick. Scorn, which looks like gloriously disgusting but really cool. That's the Alien style, like HR Gaga shooter kind of thing in October. Things like Valheim coming to console, or at least PC Game Pass, but then console later. Dark Tide being day one. Grounded, Obsidian's Honey, I Shrunk the Kids thing that's been in like early access for like a year or two. That's coming 1.0 in like September as well. Games I've been super excited for, like A Plague Tale, like Somerville, which wasn't in the show but was in that like really cool splash screen they put up for the next 12 months highlights. Overwatch 2 being a thing, it's free to play, so you don't need Game Pass, coming early October. That's on everything, but yeah, just stuff like that. But Peter, why don't you tell us about your biggest?
So I gotta say, I didn't watch the Xbox Bethesda showcase, and I was pretty excited to catch up on the news. I can't remember why. I think I'd been up like ages like beforehand, and I was just like, do you know what? I'm pretty tired. I'm not gonna watch this one. So I jumped onto Twitter for my daily morning doom scroll, and I was granted with a like I was greeted with this meme that said, "I can't believe Xbox is getting Persona 5 before the Switch." And I was like, "I beg your pardon? What?" And yeah, so not only are Xbox getting Persona 5 Royal on Game Pass, but they're getting Persona 4 Golden and, more importantly, Persona 3 Portable, which I
Oh,
believe
baby.
is the first re-release of that one in like a decade, something like that.
Yeah, almost a decade and a half. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, since the PSP.
yeah. So
That one. Yep,
it's
that's a
huge.
biggie.
It's huge,
Yeah,
and
Persona another. Yeah, the Persona 5 Royal is another October game and is getting next gen enhancements as well. It's also coming to PS5, they confirmed, and PS4. And they did that in a very interesting,
yeah,
very
they
Atlas way. They teased it bit by bit, made you think Xbox only, then they made you think next gen PS5 only, and then they said, "Oh, you're also getting it on PS4." Even though Persona 3 Portable could run on your fridge.
Yeah.
yeah, that might be a struggle, but it's not. Yeah, look, oh wow, it's really exciting to see. Not only it coming to Xbox in general, even though, yes, arguably I would like it on the Switch, and I would like the game that says portable in the title to be on my portable console. I just
Yeah.
super pumped for the fact that it's not exclusive to PlayStation anymore. It's finally kind of broken. Like, we had 4 Golden on Steam, but that's, I don't know, it kind of feels a little bit different than it going onto an actual console.
Yeah, I think Atlas viewed it
Yeah.
differently as well.
Yeah, and it's finally happening. And this also explains, like earlier this year, Sega put out, because Sega being the publisher of Atlas games, they said that they were going to be porting more backlogged games from the Sega library, the entire Sega library, into more consoles and PC as well. And that, that's what they said, and we hadn't really seen much in the way of that happening. Apart
Yeah,
from
they said that a while ago.
yeah, they said that. They did say it a while ago, and so it's like, I mean, unless you count Sonic Origins as that, which I don't know, I kind of count that more as its own thing, rather like a kind of remaster rather than a port. Yeah, this is really the first one I can really think of. But yeah, wow, what a bang! It's amazing.
It was huge. And if you've been a Persona fan as long as we have, I think all 3 of us are pretty into it. Am I not mistaken?
Just a little bit. I don't.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit.
You got me into Persona.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Persona 4 Golden, one of my top 5 favorite games of all time, has been for a decade. A decade officially at the end of this year. Yeah, so since I finished it, so yeah, it's a good one, but I never finished P3P, and I think overall it's the superior version of the game. I know there's no like ultimate version like that includes the stuff from the PS2 re-release called FES, which had like an extra chapter, but this one has the way better combat, even though you have to select your destination from menus and stuff. But I will be playing that on probably Xbox Cloud streaming. I mean, that'll run quite easily on that. Unless they reveal it for Switch, which if they don't, I will be quite shocked at this point.
Yeah, especially with that thing that happened the other day. There was like some German retailer, I think it's a German retailer or French retailer, so European retailer put up a listing for
something on the mainland.
Yeah, something on the mainland. Yeah, Europe somewhere. The European Union. Oh, let's not get into that.
Sorry.
We can edit that out. So yeah, a European relayer, European retailer put up a listing for Persona 5 Royal on the Switch, which doesn't really mean particularly much because like it could have just been like a random sort of thing. But there was when they were doing the orders for Persona 4 Arena Ultimax, there was a listing for Switch with a Midnight Channel bundle, which was seen as an error, but could be leading into another announcement. But the more important thing is that I'm 90% sure this is the same retailer who put Sonic Colors Ultimate up for pre-order 3 months before they announced it. So
it's coming. It's coming.
It wouldn't surprise me to see, because Atlas are Atlas, and it's like, oh yes, Xbox can announce that, and then we're just going to tease the PlayStation bits, and then we're going to clarify the PlayStation bits, and then Nintendo can announce the other bit on their own, because of the way that they updated the website just kind of randomly with no kind of prior warning to update to say that it was coming PS4 and PS5. Essentially that means that they can just update it on the fly. So if Nintendo do have a direct at the end of this month or maybe early next month, it just means that Persona ports are definitely not off the table at all, and in fact are most likely sitting there somewhere on the table.
Please let it happen, Atlas. Come on.
Give me.
I know. I mean, it could be like Sega's pressure. The Atlas.
I'm pretty sure I know the
exclusivity.
I'm pretty sure that like if we definitely want to get Persona 4 Golden on the Switch, all I need to do is go into Steam and buy it on the PC, and then they will announce it almost immediately. I guarantee it.
So why aren't you doing it?
Take one for the team, Peter.
Let me go. Let me check my Steam wallet. Hang on. But yeah, it's a good
just
one.
While Peter's buying Persona 4 Golden on Steam, I'm just going to rattle off some other real things. Some stuff that's worth checking out individually if you don't want to watch the whole stream, although I do think it was really well paced, especially compared to the Jeff Keighley one. No shade on him. He's improving, but Xbox has been doing it for a little bit longer. I really like Lightyear Frontier, which is Titanfall mechs, just farming, with like really colorful art style. Looks really cool, and I think it's out this October as well. Or sometime later this year. I also really liked the look of The Last Case of Benedict Fox, which just go look at it. Looks awesome. Obviously, Forza looks eye-bleedingly delicious. The new Motorsport, and the new Horizon DLC, which is out on the 19th of July, same day as Stray, for Hot Wheels, is really looking fun as well. And As Dusk Falls, which is the new kind of stop motion frame thing from one of the old people from Quantic Dream. So it's a choose your own adventure story. That's out July 19th as well, and all on Game Pass as well. Probably the other announcement in terms of like newsworthiness that probably could match like the Persona thing was probably the partnership with Riot Games, which is apparently coming next year, which I thought was like hugely surprising. Like it's only for like if you've got a PC, and you're playing these games, or a mobile phone. But if you just happen to be on Game Pass Ultimate, like you'll just have all of these like
Massive
rosters
benefits.
just yeah, and like perks and stuff, but also like all the rosters just unlocked. I think it was SkillUp who said it was the most value added to Game Pass in one announcement ever.
That's arguably over $500 worth of stuff minimum.
Oh, look, that's low end for
That's me
sure.
lowballing it like a lot.
Yeah, because it's Valorant and League and Wild Rift and Legends of Runeterra and the other one they do,
Teamfight
which I am.
Tactics.
Thank you, Teamfight Tactics, that one as well. I have been off the Rift a long time, and I'm not planning to go back. Also, Valorant makes me motion sick. But when Wild Rift comes to a console, which was part of its plan, I will probably jump in. But I don't know. Who can say? Who can say? Now, I'm actually like, I like the look of Diablo 4, but I've never been a Diablo guy. And also, I'm not a Bethesda like Western RPG guy. So Starfield didn't really do much for me, but I appreciate that it was like a big deal. Do either of you have thoughts on those two?
Not particularly. Starfield was an interesting one. I've only caught bits and pieces of that one, so like it gives me if I don't know, it feels like exactly what I expected it to, and nothing more. Does that make sense?
Mm, that's very
Yeah, I
fair.
mean, it looks prettier, but it looks like an evolution of the same engine rather than a new direction. Also, I just wish Todd would shut up.
Todd just casually in the kind of, because there was the gameplay showcase a little bit after the reveal showcase, just casually being like, oh yeah, we'll make Fallout 5 later, by the way, it's coming. What?
After Elder Scrolls 6, which is
Yeah.
already like so
Yeah.
many years in the
And then
future.
the Elder Scrolls grandma is like, can you please just release it before I die, please?
Yep. That
Like,
was yeah, they really dug their own grave on this one.
like,
Jeez.
bring her
Come on, Todd.
into.
He just always says too much, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
he just he's fair enough. He's excited about his games and his team but making the games, and that's great, and you make games that people love, but like just you know they should have like a Todd Howard line in the script. Just be like, okay, this is where you want to end. How about 3 lines before that is when we actually cut to credits?
It's like
That
he
would be the way to go.
failed improv class when it comes to yes anding, because he just keeps yes anding his own stuff.
He does. He does. He's the new Peter Molyneux. Oh, actually, that's a bit rude.
Ooh.
No one is the new Peter Molyneux.
No.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. All
However,
right.
I still haven't forgiven him.
yeah, my thoughts on Starfield, sort of from what I saw, pretty. I like the idea of building your own ship. That sounds like fun. The combat looks kind of flat. There's not enough. There's not a lot of meat to it. There's not a lot of. I mean, granted, you're in space, but floaty, and there's no weight to it. I could be just my view on it, but also what really scares me is the thousands of planets, or a
Yeah.
thousand planets. That is too much content, and No Man's Sky learned that the hard way.
I will explore 4 of them, and then I will get bored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like with what he clarified afterwards, because he always needs to clarify, I think he was talking about maybe 40, 50 of them being actually like, he used the word, I think, Goldilocks planets or something to that effect, where they're like just right for human life or alien life. And then the rest of them are just going to be No Man's Sky style, where you can treat them pretty optionally. So that made me like feel better, but also like, I don't know if I'll see if this game comes out early 2023 and it's like clashing with the million other games I need to play. Like, it's just going to be the next Bethesda RPG that I don't play. But I get that it's a huge deal for getting people on Game Pass and all that stuff. So yeah, Diablo 4 looks cool as well. It actually was one of the only paid games in the show, like as in not free to play, that wasn't in Game Pass. But of course, they're going to buy Activision officially by the middle of next year, and that may change. So I may play it if it's on Game Pass, and it's multiplayer anyway, and it depends on the release date because there's stuff everywhere and too many games to play, as Peter was saying earlier.
What excites me about Diablo, I guess, is one, Necromancer class. I have played, at least I really enjoyed Diablo 3. Necromancer is one of the coolest classes, in my opinion.
Yeah, I heard it always was, yeah.
The fact that they're boasting cross-play as well as cross-progression across any platform has me very intrigued.
That's tasty.
That means you could play with everyone, like genuinely everyone, and I really like that. I think that really brings back to a quote I remember. It was Pete Hines was one of the years just said, with Xbox, we just want you to enjoy the games. We don't care what platform you're on. We just want you to have fun and enjoy the games. Something along those lines was the quote, and I genuinely love that mentality, and you've really seen it through Xbox over the coming years, getting more and more of a front running for how they are actually progressing with their company, it seems. Really pushing for games for everyone, games with everyone.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself if I was in the marketing department. Yeah, yeah, I've been an Xbox guy basically since you guys have not known me, but like with the last 3 years, like where we've done most of our talking. I've been an Xbox guy, but I didn't always used to be. And it was around the time that like Game Pass Ultimate came around, I think 2019. Although I had already got the One X as my main console at the end of 2017. So I've been an Xbox guy, Xbox first guy, well, Switch first guy overall, but you know what I mean, like for like almost half a decade. And it has been good to see this kind of, and I get it. A lot of it is like they're digging into PlayStation because PlayStation don't need to do crossplay, so they're still resisting it in like a lot of games apparently. Like TMNT Shredder's Revenge just came out, and apparently that, like, I was talking to a mate about whether we could play that crossplay, and the crossplay that's live is just Xbox and PC, which is unfortunate because they talked a big game about it being everything, and you just think, oh, has Sony like blocked it again or something because they're the market front runner. So yeah, look, it might be just an easy win for Xbox for now. When you're not the market leader, you can do, you usually are the one with the better goodwill. But yeah, it is. I mean, I just like playing games on Xbox because I'm not always on the Xbox. Like I've been playing Halo or bit of Tunic on PC, and then my save file's in the cloud, and I'm playing it on a train, and then I'm playing it on a Series S, and then later on a Series X in 4K, and it's just the save goes with me and all that. And I didn't pay any extra for it because it's on Game Pass. This show made such a strong showing as the last couple have, but this one for the more immediate side of it as well. Real quick as well, there was one other announcement that was very sneakily, very deliberately not shown as a game because it would have gone against their entire mission statement for the showcase. But that was just Hideo Kojima. That was the announcement.
Oh, Hideo. He just turn up and be like, I'm making a game. Bye.
Yeah, he did.
Bye.
Yeah, Phil introduced him. Big man, Phil Spencer. Yeah.
Does that mean that Phil Spencer's going to turn up in the game?
Please, that would be incredible.
With Jeff Keighley.
Apparently it's a horror game. So yeah, with Jeff Keighley, with his best mate. One day that'll be the true horror. Yeah, and on that note, I think that's Xbox done anyway, unless you have anything else to say.
Just say we forgot one of the biggest announcements: Minecraft Legends.
They didn't. Really, What was that?
Yeah,
it was like a trailer, like a CG trailer for Minecraft, but it was like
that's an RTS.
It's like a army builder.
Is it Command and Conquer?
No, it's like a hero directing an army sort of thing, where you've got like moving around with it behind you.
Oh, okay, like Brutal Legend.
Yeah, more like that. Yeah,
like Overlord or Pikmin.
Yeah,
yeah, all right.
Pikmin, but Minecraft. That would be wicked.
Action strategy game is what they're calling it.
I see. Well, look, yeah, there was actually just a lot of what you might call like AA games that it might be less exciting to read on a thingy, but when you see the gameplay, when you're watching it live, and more importantly, when you see it in front of you, as I will download this because I'm already paying for the subscription service, then that That's it. That's really what they're about, isn't it? Also, Sea of Thieves Season 7 update. Should have mentioned that. My bad. Zora, you're a big player of Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
It looks good. Naming boats.
About
Lots of
damn
boats.
time.
It is about damn time. They finally brought in the option to be a captain. That's all I want in a game.
No, I think that's Xbox done. I think that's Xbox done. So let's take a quick sneaky little break here before we take on Capcom, Final Fantasy, and then move on to other stuff. So next up, we have Capcom Showcase. So it was not a particularly long showcase, probably about 20 minutes,
this one's
25.
Good. This one's quick.
But pretty loaded with some good stuff. So Barlow, take it away.
Yeah, this one I can nail real quick because they didn't. See, Capcom had a showcase last year, but no one I talked to today. I just wanted someone to acknowledge that it was improving, but it was like everyone had collective amnesia because no one remembers there being a Capcom showcase last year. Which kind of proved my point about
There
how
wasn't a
forgettable it
Capcom
was.
Showcase last year. What are you talking about?
Yeah, okay, yeah. Just maybe I'm the crazy one, but I can tell you, it sucked. It had nothing new of interest, and this one at least, Capcom's learning. Yes, everything they announced took like way too long, and they didn't show any, they didn't keep any Street Fighter 6 reveals because we didn't mention earlier that Jeff Keighley's show had the new Guile look. He's looking fresh
I forgot
in
about
Street
Guile.
Fighter 6. Yeah, well, he didn't forget about you, Peter.
Oh,
He didn't forget about you.
good.
I assume you'll fight him at one point. There was a lot of Monster Hunter Rise at the beginning, the Sunbreak stuff, which we understood. What we didn't think we'd get is a demo for a DLC expansion. So that's playable right now. But the game's out next week at the time of recording. Huge meaty expansion, love that. Yeah, nothing new from Street Fighter 6, nothing new from too much else. We've already talked about the RE4 stuff, but what was cool is that they left the reveal of Resident Evil 8 DLC. So Resident Evil Village, which I loved, and we already talked about a bit, is getting story DLC that a lot of people thought would be what Resident Evil 9 was about. If you haven't watched it and you wanted to avoid it because you haven't played Village yet and you really want to play it, well, then I've got good news. Number one, I'm not going to spoil it. And number two, you can play it in third-person mode. So they've made that and the new DLC the same basic gameplay style as RE2, 3, and 4. So 8 is going to be playable in Resident Evil 7 style and in RE2, 3, and 4 style as well, which is much less scary, which is good because replaying that dollhouse first person is the one thing stopping me from going back to do the New Game Plus stuff. So yeah, and that's got a release with the gold edition of the game coming alongside it on the 28th of October, alongside new characters in Mercenaries mode, doing the meme Lady D, of course. And yeah, the only other new thing worth talking about is Exoprimal, which is their new team of mechs versus Tornado of Dinosaurs game. Did you guys see that?
I love it. Yeah, that was really cool. And then the human face keeps appearing, and it's like, "Hello, my name is like Jarvis or something, or some kind of name." It was really, it was a really interesting title. You know what it reminds me of though, which is really weird, and you're gonna have to bear with me possibly on this. It makes me think of Phantasy Star Online 2. So
right, which you did play a bit of, didn't you?
Yes, I did, and I broke my old laptop because I was trying to play it with without a mouse and keyboard. It was terrible. It was, there was basically like you've got the different planets and stuff, and one of the kind of, I think it's a plot point, but like I didn't actually get that far into the story. I was just doing kind of like the random side missions. One of the plot points is that you go back to Earth, but I think it's a future Earth, and then this kind of thing has taken over the world and brought back just random bits from humans' existence. So there's just a crap ton of dinosaurs flying about Tokyo that you can take down, and so it's like very similar sort of environments with dinosaurs, but also this game has like Phantasy Star also had like helicopters that turned into monsters and rats as well that you had to kill, which was very sad. So very, very cool. But anyway, back to Exoprimal. Just a lot of dinosaurs in a short space of time. There's a very high dinosaur to cubic meter of land ratio.
Frame
Dora,
rate
did you see this?
Screaming just watching the trailer though. The frame rate is, I can
you're
only
watching it now.
imagine. Yeah, I'm catching
Uh,
it at the moment, and it's just this game looks wild.
I can't help but
Definitely
get
a good game with friends. I feel is what that looks
yes.
like.
Yeah, I'm getting an Earth Defense Force vibe. And as a
yeah,
series that
yeah.
a bunch of my friends got into, but I never did because I was too late to be in the cool group of 4 players that played. I really want to get on in on this one because I'm starting to realize that I really like a lot of Capcom's games that I didn't as a kid or even a teenager because they kind of ignored Nintendo for a while. And I'm a Nintendo kid. But yeah, it looks really good, really campy, really like not physically demanding, except for the graphical style isn't. But obviously, sometimes you want those frames to drop though, like in 13 Sentinels when you this is a deep cut when you unleash like 200 missiles at once. Those are the satisfaction moments that you want the frame rate to drop. But yeah, they did announce it really weird. Like a lot of the stuff with the showcase, they said there would be a beta and then they didn't announce the date for it, even though you could go and look on the website and register for it. And then it had dates for like July or something. But yeah, hopefully it's out on time next year and in a good time so I can play it. There's a lot of co-op games coming out. Hopefully it's cross-platform as well.
Just like a
I
lot of
think,
dinosaurs.
unless you have any closing thoughts on the dinosaur games, Zora.
I'll be intrigued to see more of the gameplay. Is all I will say.
Yes, doesn't look AAA, but does look like that Capcom energy that just seems to be magnetic to me at the moment. Anyway, the other thing they did that was really weird is announced an announcement, which ended up being for Dragon's Dogma 2, which was a really cool, very Capcom style announcement, where there was this cinematic cut of three Japanese men taking off their jumpers to reveal shirts with the logo Dragon's Dogma 2 on it.
That is
So that's how you want a lot of people going crazy for it. Unfortunately, they decided to do it at the same time as
Final Fantasy VII Direct, and that's what I'm calling it, Direct.
Now, I said earlier, it's good when you eat well
Yeah.
at an E3 or a not E3 or a Key 3 or whatever, or a Summer Game Fest, and then you get a Nintendo Direct as dessert. Well, let me tell you, in the absence of a Nintendo Direct, this was good dessert. This was premium stuff. A 10-minute 25th anniversary Final Fantasy VII focused stream, and it just went hard. It revealed New Star First Soldier, which is a mobile game that I don't see a lot of interest in, so fair enough. There's another game that people wish would come to consoles, but it's just a retelling of the original Final Fantasy VII in like a much more faithful style than obviously the remake, which isn't even a remake. But yeah, and that is still coming to beta only this year and only to phones, which sucks. But then they did some nice cheeky merch like they did in the Sonic Central. But then they revealed an unexpected full remake slash remaster. One of those like it was like very similar to Last of Us Part 1 in the sense that a lot of the animations looked the same, but it was so much of an increase in fidelity that it's like straddling that line between remake and remaster. For Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core, which is another PSP game that's been stranded on the PSP. You could not ever buy that game digitally, so you couldn't even buy it if you had a Vita instead of a PSP. So that's huge.
Yeah. Yeah, I know a lot of people who absolutely lost their minds at that announcement. Like, I know there was a lot of people, yeah, have been asking for that to come back, and yeah, no, wow, it's the perfect time. It was the perfect time for them to announce something like that. Absolutely flawless timing.
Yeah, and then Zora, did you play much 7? Anything 7? Gee, there's a lot of spin-offs.
I honestly haven't. As far as Seven goes, all I've seen is the movie Advent Children, and that's all I know about it.
Did you see
Which I really enjoyed.
Yeah, did you see it on Blu-ray with the 40 minutes of extra content? When
I
that was the
did
hottest thing?
actually.
Yeah, back in 2007, whatever it was. Yeah, that was the business. That was one of my first Blu-rays. Really aging myself, as we all are. But yeah, and then they just kind of just sent at least my entire feed into meltdown, and also my brain, with the reveal of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which is the second part of the Final Fantasy VII trilogy, which is now confirmed as a trilogy, with a mysterious final title that they will not reveal, but is very significant because it's a Tetsuya Nomura. Well, he's not the main director of the second one, but he's involved, so the title needs to be weird and obfuscating and meaningful in its own way that is always a spoiler that you couldn't spoil for the life of you if you tried to explain it to someone with 40 minutes and a whiteboard. So look, it's more of that. It looks pretty as hell because it's going to be on PS5 exclusively. Poor Xbox people. They also didn't get remake.
Yeah, I was expecting remake for Xbox. But
Yeah,
yeah,
they got. Yeah, the opening announcement was a Steam port
they
because
got
it's only been on Epic Games Store so
they
far.
got a middle finger, and
Yeah,
that's
and
it.
no Xbox. Yeah, so if we have to wait for the whole trilogy to come to Game Pass, then that will be sad. But you know what?
Yeah.
Apparently not so sad because Nomura, who is well known for being really not good at finishing games in timely fashion, he was one of three high up people within the team to put up like a statement on the website, and his one mostly focused on how insane it was to him that Square Enix is actually getting games out. Because it's churning them out. We had the Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin earlier this year. We're getting Forspoken supposedly still in October. And then this winter, which in America is different from Australia, it's not just a set 3 month period, but it's like close to, I think it ends almost like their financial year ends at the end of March next year. Could be the Crisis Core remake. And then the following one, so latest March 31st, 2024, for Rebirth, which is way sooner than we expected it. And if it keeps to that pace, we could be done by 2027, 2028, and that's insane.
Yeah, that
That's
is
insane.
crazy. Wow. I didn't realize
But
it was
also,
that pace. Wow.
that's so far away for all the fans.
It is Zora, but let me tell you, as ugh, the first part of the remake was announced in 2015 after being rumored for like another couple years, after being like teased at the beginning of the PS3 generation. And then from 2015 to 2020 was another 5 years. So this thing is as synonymous with like delays as Final Fantasy 15, Kingdom Hearts 3 were back in the day. So if not more so. So yeah, look, I was certainly eaten well. Final Fantasy 7 Remake was my game of the year 2020 in an untouchable way. I thought it was incredible with a lot of the chances it took, and its gameplay is, I think, a series high. And it also looks real pretty, mostly. And the PS5 version fixes most of the mostly ones. Anyway, that's kind of all I got.
Yeah, it was a as someone I've played a bit of Final Fantasy VII Remake, and it's fantastic. It's fantastic. I'm really looking forward to Rebirth and whatever third one is going to be. And yeah, like a Crisis Core, especially Crisis Core coming to everything. Like it's not just it's not just PlayStation. That's like all of the consoles. All of the consoles, no matter what you're playing, you're going to be able to try out Crisis Core. So that's fantastic.
Oh, true. Yeah, it is coming to Switch, which is very cool.
Yeah,
A
exactly.
portable console. It's like Persona 3 Portable should be on the Switch too.
That's what I. That's what I. That's what we dream for, my friends. That's what we dream for, and that's what we campaign for every single day.
We do not rest. Right. So look, I think overall it's been a very exciting month. We didn't even talk about LeChonk and his buddies which was technically kind of, you could count it. Was it late May or beginning of June?
It was end of May.
The Scarlet Violet trailer. Yeah. Okay. So we
And
can't
Chicken
really leave it. Okay.
Parmigiana.
Whatevs. Smoliv is who I will die for. But anyway, yeah, we could still have a direct coming. That's the crazy thing.
That is the.
But
crazy
even if
thing.
we don't, I think not E3, Key 3, Summer Game Fest 2022 was a success. Because I
Absolutely.
didn't expect much, and I got way more than what I expected.
Yeah,
So yeah,
I completely agree with what Barlow just said. Like it was, it's not what I was expecting for most, like a lot of it, but also kind of was, like you got the announcements that I was expecting, like Modern Warfare 2, and some really cool new indies rising up, and gameplay from different things, and like the big reveals, like as much as it's not for me, Last of Us Part 1, big reveal. Final Fantasy Remake Part 2 Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, absolutely ridiculous reveal. Like so many good ones, and like all of the Xbox announcements, like there was something fantastic for pretty much everyone there, which is exactly what you want from this sort of thing, and for Christmas for gamers. That's what this is. So
I said it showed up.
I said the G word. But yeah,
It's fine. It took you 2 hours. That's a good handicap.
yeah. Look, it's good. It was fantastic. Yeah, in general, like there were some things that were quite puzzling that I think I'm surprised weren't there. The main one for me was God of War Ragnarok. I was really surprised that we didn't see anything about that.
Good point. Good point.
Especially considering I've heard like rumors about it coming out end of 2022, and I'm like, we saw the gameplay in the gameplay showcase, like the gameplay showcase last year, I think it was. So
Oh,
yeah,
I guess we did. No, we had. Yeah, it was there. Gee, I can't remember. This is terrible.
I think it was gameplay.
Yeah.
Was it?
Okay.
I don't know.
Was it? I am blanking, but it's been a long podcast. I am very sorry. I am very sorry. Yeah. Apparently, yeah, the rumors apparently are November, but they're just apparently not confident enough in it. It was said to be 2022, and they are sticking to it at the time of recording. But yeah, if it wasn't at Keighley's Summer Game Fest show, I don't know where it would be. And the fact that they got The Last of Us reveal, that was a big get for Keighley because PlayStation's usually very precious with their announcements and they like to keep them on their own stages, on their own terms. So yeah, look, if God of War comes out in November, I think it will be a much needed megaton for this holiday season.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, because what we got so far in November, just Pokemon. And Pentiment, one of the games I didn't mention, a small passion project from Obsidian, which is also coming to Game Pass. It's Xbox exclusive on PC and phone as well, which looks like a medieval 2D art. And some of the characters who stay around long will get like visibly more tattered rather than older, which is a really cool thing. Anyway, so that game's coming in November. And then we're getting, it could be Final Fantasy, but probably not because next winter is that's only like the start of winter. Anyway, so that's that. But yeah, do you think we're getting a direct? Yeah, I mean, we're treating it as a foregone conclusion, but we've done that before and been burnt.
We have, yes, that's true. I'm in the camp. Well, I was in the camp that there was a direct this week, and that is true. I actually, as far as concerns are, I won. I won my prediction because we got the Xenoblade Chronicles 3 direct, which is happening in about an hour and 5 minutes time from time of recording. But so yeah, like I was honestly, I was expecting a full direct, and then there is this thing. We've been talking about Mr. Keighley quite a lot. There was that tweet that he put out saying, it looks like Nintendo's splitting their announcements for this month," and then he deleted it straight away. It's like, well,
One
and then
slipped.
he
Jeff.
retweeted.
Jeff.
He tweeted like a similar thing. It's like, it looks like Nintendo's holding their cards close to their chest or something like that. And it's like, mate, we already saw you. We caught you in 4K, like 4Keely. Yeah, you're just yeah. You're done.
Oh dear, Jeff.
You're done, bro. So yeah, like I kind of feel like I feel like there might be one next week. I don't know if it's going to be the 29th though, because there's this whole thing with like there's a shareholder meeting in Japan on the 29th. So it would be weird for them to have an announcement or like, just have a direct after that, because surely they'd want to talk about the new, like, kind of all the goodies with their shareholders and be like, hey, look at all this good stuff that we've got. You're going to be fine money wise. Or I don't know how shareholder meeting works, but yes,
Fair enough.
I don't know whether or not it's business. They're all wearing ties
Business
or something.
stuff.
Yeah. I could see it possible. I like, normally they happen they get announced on our Wednesday mornings and they happen our Thursday evenings. That's generally the kind of way that they go, but Nintendo does whatever Nintendo feels like it's doing. So I could see it happening on the 27th or the 28th easily. I don't see them
I feel like they do.
convention.
Yeah, because normally we get them at like a nice time for Aussies because they do it by Japan. So we get them at 8 or 9 a.m. on like a Friday
Well,
or a Thursday.
typically, this is the thing. Typically, the E3 ones, are normally late for us.
Yeah, they're normally
late
2
for us.
a.m.
Yeah, they're normally, because they're more based on American time, whereas the other ones, like the January ones, seem to be more of a. Actually, yeah, it was the January ones 2 years in a row have been like 7 a.m., 8 a.m. for us.
Yeah, that's right. There's usually quite a difference in terms of my sleep and how good I feel the next day. I think, well, I actually don't know now. There's no precedent for like a direct. Because normally, like, the last time we didn't have an E3 was 2020, and Nintendo didn't show up with any directs that year. So we don't know what to expect.
They just kind of announced Pikmin 3 in the middle of Twitter. We're just like, hey, it's coming.
That
Pikmin.
and Paper Mario. Yeah.
Yes, that was it.
It was
Yeah,
a crazy one.
Yeah. And was that the same year as 3D All Stars as well?
Yes, they
Like,
did
hey.
a Mario Direct. They did a themed Mario Direct.
That was it,
They
yes.
did an anniversary one.
Right, okay.
Which
Is there any
was-
big anniversaries for Nintendo this year?
Oh, they ignore him anyway.
Yeah.
They've already had the Kirby one, I think.
DK? Who's that?
Oh.
I do not know him.
Yeah, I guess Zelda was last year and Mario year before.
Fire Emblem was
Metroid,
last
they
year
kind
as
of,
well.
yeah. Fire Emblem, they did they did a collector's edition of a thingy. Yeah, I don't know, but I don't think that's worth like basing your predictions around. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we could be back here talking about one in a week, which is exciting. So, but I don't know. I feel like Nintendo's year is already kind of stacked. So, what quote unquote scares me as someone who really, really likes Direct and their form factor, as I knock my shield here, is the fact that they don't need any more games. They can pretty much just say, here's one or two Twitter announcements, and here's the release dates, and they're good. Because right now they look pretty stacked already. But I think they should do one anyway because I'm selfish.
More content, more games. Always fun to look forward to the future.
There's a couple of months that are a little empty. Like I think it's August, October, and December. I don't think we've got any announcements lined up.
Sorry, yes, you are correct. But December is like most publishers don't release in December. If you do, you release in the first week, and most people who announce games for the first week of December, it gets delayed into the following year anyway. Nintendo they have done both of the last two Smash games, and a couple of the last couple of Xenoblades have been in December, or at least one of them, X was. So they're a little bit higher batting average in December than most, but they're still not. It's not a given at all. Remember when Advance Wars was meant to be? Yeah, thanks for that. 2 hours in, and there goes the dagger right in me. That's fine. I'm okay if we never play that. Okay. Yeah. Anyway. You are right. August and October. But what I mean is, you could announce, okay, Bayonetta 3 is coming in August on Twitter, and then you could announce Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope is October. And then you don't need a direct, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
do you know there's something that I just realized that we didn't mention over the entirety of this direct, and it's another one of the games that I was expecting for Summer Games Fest, and it is apparently launching on Switch as well, and that's that Hogwarts Legacy. I was kind of anticipating
Warner Brothers kind of didn't really.
Yeah, I was anticipating a release date for that, especially because I thought it was like I've heard December for that one. That's why it's just come back to me. I heard something about like a December release for that, and I'm like, oh, I don't know. That feels a bit weird.
That's expected for this year as well.
Yeah,
wild.
Didn't hear anything about that. So, what that means, who knows? I don't know if I'll play that, to be honest. But like that's a Switch game, so yeah, that could be something for a.
Allegedly. Jeez.
Yeah, I don't.
Does that run on?
How that's going to work?
Cloud Switch game, maybe.
Do we have to? Do we have to start a? Is this going to be like a recurring segment? Will it run on Switch? Will
it blend? Yes, absolutely. I think that can be our recurring segment. And on that note, we haven't really talked about why the podcasts, like what our goals, what your goals, as this is yours, Peter, for this podcast are. But that's fine because there's just so much to talk about that this can just be the brute force. Let's just talk into mics for 2 hours, and then we'll get more structure hopefully next time.
So bold of you to assume that it's just 2 hours.
Look, that's. Haven't podcasted for a good 8 years, so fair enough. Okay. Peter, did you want to take out the last two segments?
Yeah, sure. So, obviously there's as far as this podcast goes, and it's recurring segments and what we're doing. There are going to be, obviously we will find our feet. I think we'll find our feet, we'll find our rhythm. But what we want to talk about really is what we're playing at the moment and what we're looking forward to playing in the near future. So what have we been playing this week? What have we been playing this week? Barlow, go.
I have been playing Horizon Forbidden West. I know it came out in February, but it was out I don't know if you've heard of this game that came out a week later. It's called Elden Ring. Yeah, that kind of took over my life for 3 months. So I've just sort of like repurchased Horizon. Having just finally, after 5 years of it hanging around my neck, I just finished Horizon Zero Dawn on PC. Because I finally have a PC run good enough to run that quite awful port. And yeah, so straight into Forbidden West, and I've just been like really trying to soak it in as much as possible because that game, just like the first one was overshadowed by Breath of the Wild, this one was overshadowed by Elden Ring. It's got so much of its own to offer, and I'm only in the first area, but there's already so much more quest variety. It's much smoother animated. It's already made me like chuckle or smile or laugh 2 or 3 times, which the first one never did. And its combat is, which was already the best part of the first one and what got me through, is way more like you got way more options, including them trying to fix like a melee option, which I've been trying to take just to spite myself really. But yeah, I'm really enjoying that. And then I'm having a side, and I teased these two games earlier. On Switch, I am playing Neon White, which was announced with a release date of basically a shadow drop, like almost an out now, during SGF, and then also Card Shark, which was part of the Devolver show. And they're both really, really, really good. Neon White is like this. They both involve cards, but neither of them are deck building games. So Neon White is a first person. I'm going to say something that's going to perk up your ears, Peter. This is the game that has got me the most interested in replaying levels for better scores since Sonic Adventure 2.
Ooh.
Yeah, I thought that might get you.
Interesting.
Where it's all about, yeah, it runs at 60 frames. You can like, it's got gyro aiming, whatever. Basically, each card has like is like the equivalent of like a gun, like a handgun or a pistol, whatever, or a machine gun, and it depletes as you shoot the bullets to kill the demons in the world. But if you don't, like, if you fully like use up the card, then it's gone. But if you willingly discard it, you get a movement option that's either a dash or like an extra jump or whatever. And this is necessary to get through these things. Sometimes you need to get there in 20 seconds to like, optimize your run in these tiny levels. And there's lots of those. There's a little bit of like, some character stuff in a hub world where you can do like a little bit of like, not quite dating sim, but you know what I mean? There's characters and dialogue you unlock as you give them gifts, which are collectibles in these worlds. And it's really ambitious. It's from a team that includes the guy who did Donut County, which is, if you guys have never played that one, it's like a quick 2 hour game that's like a reverse Katamari Damacy, where you have a hole in the ground that gets bigger as more stuff goes in it. And that had a wacky story, and I've played that game like twice and that. And yeah, I really enjoyed that one. This is very different, but like this guy's got, some developing chops and all that. And then Card Shark, real quick, it goes back to olden time France, around the Revolution, maybe. I forget the century. And you're playing with actual cards, but you are not building a deck or anything. You are learning cheats and swindles and all that, and you have to make bets to basically get the most money off different aristocrats around France, as you go on your little caravan and all that. And cool. That game has an incredible art style and music, and yeah, I really recommend those two games on Switch or on whatever platform you've got. I mean, Neon White's only on PC and Switch, but I think Card Shark is on almost every. Oh, it might also be PC and Switch. I don't know, but it's definitely PC and Switch. Could be other stuff, but both of them are great for Switch. So check them out.
Yeah, nice. That's a good roster. There's a good roster you got going there. The Card Shark one sounds really interesting as well. Actually, like learning the cheats is pretty cool. It's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Zora, what are you up at the moment?
At the moment, well, I mean, I'm going through my first playthrough of Hollow Knight. So now I have a time frame. I've got to finish it before Silksong comes out by the scenes of it now.
Sometime in the next 12 months.
Yeah, I've got less than sometime in the next 12 months to beat that game.
You've got between 12 months and 3 days. You never know when it's coming out. So
yeah. I'm thoroughly enjoying like the art style, the music, things that everyone probably has already raved about when that came out. But it's so charming at the same time. There's so much to the world. Now, I am terrible at platformers, but I'm just too stubborn to let this game go. Um, it's really hooked me, and I'm really loving it. I have no idea what I'm doing half the time because the world is so massive. I'm already 20 hours in so far, and I think I've got another 20 to
Oof.
go.
Nice.
Um, and I barely scratched the surface of everything. Apparently, I had someone tell me that I was not. Have I upgraded my weapon yet? And I'm like, you can do that, and they're like, oh god, no. So there's that. And I guess in my spare time when I'm not playing Hollow Knight, I'm actually going back to playing Hades again on the Switch.
Oh,
Bit of
nice.
a relaxing time compared to Hollow Knight.
Oh, 100%. A little bit more chill, a little less anger behind things, and where, if I die, it's fine. It's how that game goes. But I'm
What a game!
finding,
What a game!
yeah, the music is superb.
Mm.
And then probably more of the Hellsinger demo over and over and over again until it comes
Until it
out.
launches. Yeah,
Yep.
that's the way. Nice. What about you, Peter?
I am currently going back and shiny hunting through Pokemon Legends Arceus at the moment. I've just been kind
Oh,
of
you
doing
poor child.
just doing some of the massive mass outbreaks now that I know how the shiny hunting works a little bit better in it. It's not amazing. It's like some runs are amazing, some runs are terrible. Like I had a run the other day where I got a Chansey, like all in the same area. I got like a shiny Chansey, a shiny. It's not a Mankey. What was it? I got like a. I just got like 3 shinies in one outbreak. It was really good.
Oh,
It was really
nice.
good, right? And I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. And I've not had, well, I had one the run after, and then I've not had any since. So I've just been essentially killing time, essentially just killing time until, frankly, the next 2 days from recording, because like our next little segment is what we're looking forward to in the near future. Well, as of time of recording, it's 10:40 p.m. here in Australian Central Standard Time, which means that in an hour and 20 minutes, I get access to Sonic Origins. And
Oh boy.
oh, yes. So, for those who don't know, Sonic 3 and Knuckles is my favourite game of all time. Just my favourite game of all time. And so, the chance to replay it after it has been, I'd say it's probably been about 10 years since I played it last. Like, it has
Oh,
been
my word.
ages since I've had access to it. I've just not had access to Sonic 3 and Knuckles in such a long time. So, I'm extremely excited to get back into this, even though I have heard the music that they've used to replace, because obviously, for those who don't know, the backstory with Sonic 3 and Knuckles is that there is a whole kind of thing with Michael Jackson apparently wrote the songs, and then his estate is holding on to the kind of like the licensing agreement for 3 of the songs on there. The song for Carnival Night Zone, Ice Cap Zone, and Launch Base Zone, the last 3 zones in Sonic 3. So what they've done for Origins is they've replaced those tracks with the original compositions from before they got Michael Jackson into play. Unfortunately, they have kind of butchered the production on it, and they sound awful. So, not particularly happy.
Oof.
Rumor has it the supersonic music and the ending music for Sonic 3 have changed as well, but I haven't got confirmation on that yet. But yeah, it just, like, you can see some gameplay videos where it's like he goes from Marble Garden Zone, which is like the classic sound, and it's like it's really punchy and it's well produced, goes into Carnival Night, and it's like this just sounds like it's got massive fan game energy, where it's just like really lazy effort. Not that fan games are bad, sorry, that's not me slagging that off, but like, like a lot of them, they don't put much effort into the music. It just kind of ruins the vibe, which is a bit of a shame. But I'm so looking forward to just playing through that game again. And then the day after that is Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes as well, which is like one of my biggest, most anticipated games of the year, because I love the first Fire Emblem Warriors, and I cannot wait to get my teeth stuck into this, especially with the fact that it's got like 3, like I've seen reviews saying that like the stories are about like 20 to 30 hours each, and you've got 3 stories. Like it's awesome. That's a lot of content for a Warriors game. Like a lot of
Well,
content.
the first Fire Emblem Warriors had a lot, an absolute shit ton.
Oh god, yeah, especially if you went to go unlock was it Lynn? No, yeah, it was Lynn, but like if you wanted to go unlock Anna as well, like the kind of the secret character, you had to get you had to grind multiple characters up to like level 99 in order to even have a chance at taking her down. Like, it was really good stuff. Like, there's some really inventive missions in there, but yeah, lots of content. Not like Hyrule Warriors level though. Thank God.
Oh yeah, yeah. I only know that that game had so much because of half my friend group, well, my friend list playing it when it came out 5 years ago. Yeah, I guess like if I'm looking forward to stuff, it's a lot of stuff that I already have or is very close to coming out, but I'm just waiting to play because they're multiplayer. Like the Mario Strikers I picked up, but I think the first season just went live a day or two ago
Oh, cool.
online. That one has its own weird limitations, which are disappointing in terms of multiplayer, but I picked up the Quarry, which I'm hoping to play with like a group of 4 or 5 people, which because that's what I did with Until Dawn. Shredder's Revenge is out. That was the other game from Keely's show that got a Shadow Drop announcement, basically. So that's out and it's on Game Pass. So I have it on Xbox and it's 6 players. So yeah, I actually was going to get that hopefully started on the weekend, but then I got sick, which was awful. But yeah, and then I guess if I was to play Three Hopes, which I'll probably get it, but I don't know how much I'll play because it's Warriors games. I tend to want to play exclusively 2 player. And right now, me and my brother, who is usually my co-op partner, we still have to finish Lego Star Wars, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, and Kirby. So I don't know when we'll be playing it.
Is Kirby
But
co-op?
yeah, yeah, whole thing's co-op.
No
I play
way.
as Waddle Dee. He's got a little spear.
Oh, cute. I didn't know that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, he can do heaps of stuff. He can like use it as like a double jump. He's got like all kinds of crazy attacks.
That's
When
cool.
Kirby turns into a car, he can like mount up the back and just fire little spears.
I love that. Kirby. Kirby. Zora, what about you? What are you looking forward to?
I guess in the nearest ish of future, I guess Stray would be my next game on my blip.
Yeah.
Oh, true.
Uh,
Good.
Yep, yep. Ooh, that's gonna
but
be good.
also Splatoon 3. But that is a little bit
Oh,
after that again, but that's not
yes,
too
that's
near.
September, which is
Yeah,
looking
it is.
packed. But I'm hoping to clear out enough stuff that I can get properly into it like I did the second one because I have some good memes
So
playing
that's
that
one
one.
part of my argument for the whole Nintendo Direct. Why I want one so much is so that they can announce a test fire. A test fire in July
Yes.
for Splatoon 3, and then a direct in August to explain more of the game's details and to reveal Amiibo.
And the campaign.
They do like to milk the Splatoon ones. That's fair though, because particularly the ones aimed at Japan. Japan loves Splatoon. They really love it. And I like it too, particularly the DLC for Splatoon 2, which is one of the best finales of single player content that Nintendo's ever done.
Oh, really?
No cap. Yep.
Yeah.
Really, really good.
I really got to
Really
get my
good.
hands on that one. Because I've got the Nintendo Switch Online Expansion Pass Plus, because I'm
Oh
part of.
yeah, that comes with it now. Yeah, so it's no
Yes.
extra cost if you have the
Yes.
game. So
So
yeah.
I'm part of Simon's
Also
family
the rest of the
membership.
game. That's it. Well, yeah, we are on the same membership,
Yeah,
aren't we?
yeah, yeah.
That's awkward. Yeah. Just wait. Let's not go into that. Yeah. So yeah, you definitely play it then. And the rest of the game, the before the finale, is also really good. It's more mission based, and it looks like a lot of like older like Mario ideas, but with Splatoon mechanics,
That's cool.
platforming wise, and it's really cool. Really cool.
Yeah, I'll have to jump on that. But no, there's some good games we're looking forward to, and obviously a lot of good stuff that we've been playing. It's just been there's a whole lot to look forward to at the moment with everything that's been announced over the past month, and it's a good time to be playing games. Basically, that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing. So yeah, I have had a great time chatting with both of you today, and thank you so much for listening. I'll tell you what, Zora, why don't you let us know where we can find more of you?
You can find me on Twitch. I stream 2 to 3, maybe 4 days a week if I can. At twitch.tv/ZoraWolf. That's ZoraWolfe. And I'm also on Twitter under Zora Wolf as well, or Zora Wolf. Depending on which social media you're trying to find me on, it's pretty consistent.
We love consistency here. That is part of my mission. Fantastic. And Barlow, where can we find you?
Well, if you prefer your Summer Games Fest, Game Fest, rundowns in 3,000 words rather than 2.5 hours, then go to vagrantrant.com, which is my blog that I've been sort of just doing my own thing on for 10 years, just casually, where I've basically summed all the things I've said today. Yeah, and you can find me everywhere, basically. Vagrantesque, Vagrantesque. Thank you, Peter, for suffering through this with us.
It's been my pleasure to suffer through it. That's what it's been. This has been real fun. This has been real fun to do. We will be doing it again soon, and Barlow also has a very good Instagram under Vagrantesque, by the way. Some really cool stuff, so I do recommend you go check that out. But yeah, fantastic stuff. Obviously, you know who I am. I'm Peter. I'm Master Trainer Peter. Find me on YouTube right here on this channel or over at youtube.com/c/Master Trainer Peter. I'm also on Twitch occasionally at twitch.tv/Master Trainer Peter, but you can find all of the links for these in the description below. Thank you or if you're watching this on YouTube, actually, they'll be in the description below. Oh, that's a little Freudian slip there. If you're not watching this on YouTube and it's on a different hosting channel, well, then I don't really know what to tell you. You can find the link somewhere. Just type it in yourselves. Good stuff.
You can get the podcast.
You can get
on other.
If you can get the podcast
podcasting platforms.
Well, this is the thing. I always hear saying, "Oh, you can find this podcast everywhere where you listen to podcasts," and I'm like, "Ah, what? I don't know where I listen to podcasts, so it could be anywhere." I
actually listen to them I listen to them on my iPad on Apple Podcasts, and then I also listen to them on Google Podcasts on my phone. So yeah.
Do they have a description below?
They usually have a description. I know on Spotify they do.
Yes, they do, with timestamps on that.
Yes. All right, cool. We are sorted then. Fantastic. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Well, this has been a pleasure to do. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for watching. And yeah, we'll see you for the next podcast. Take care, everyone.